Championship Sunday has arrived here. Justin Thomas, he's got like 19 different bags. I guess he didn't want to pay for checked luggage here coming into Aronimink. 8:25, some 2 hours before his tee time, and be ready to go as Aldrich Potgieter playing in just his third major, the young South African. It's going to be fun to watch for the remaining part of this championship Sunday. It is feast or famine for that young man. We'll get into his round yesterday and how these players can get involved in this jam-packed leaderboard that has 22 players within 4 shots of the lead. Looking forward to another fantastic day in beautiful weather. ESPN and the PGA of America present the 2026 PGA Championship. Today, it's Sunday. Final round coverage live from Aronimink Golf Club here in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. You see the city of Philadelphia out in the horizon, and I think every single person from Philadelphia, Carl Paulson, has decided they're rolling to see this crew, this leaderboard. We get a chance to call it. Matt Every on the course. He is Carl Paulson. I am Peter Burns. It's going to be a special one today, my friend.
Yeah, it's probably desolate downtown because I think, as you mentioned, the entire city of Philadelphia has shown up all week long. It is jam-packed today to watch somebody lift that trophy at the end of the round.
And that is the Wanamaker Trophy, and that is the leader to clear of the field, Alex Smalley. How do you think he slept last night?
He's probably restless. This is a big, big moment for Alex. Hadn't broken through in regular tour events, but holds the lead here at the PGA Championship. It's going to be interesting to watch the start of his round today.
He had bogey 3 of the first 4 holes yesterday, but came back in 31. We'll talk about that later, but here is our featured group today.
And what a fun group we have. Justin Thomas, Aldrich Potgieter. Justin Thomas just had way too many bogeys yesterday. Even par Potgieter getting it done without hitting any fairways. How about that? 15 fairways hit for the entire week. Now, this is a guy who absolutely bombs it off the tee. Going to be fun to watch some of his drives today if he can get it in the fairway. Got off to a good start.
That birdie on the second would get him all the way to 4, but then after dropping a few, drops 2 on the 8th. So the question is, would the young man have an opportunity to rally? And this shot on 15 that was playing, I mean, gosh, almost 570 yesterday into that breeze.
What a shot this was. Just skirts that bunker on the right-hand side. And judges this perfectly right underneath the hole, just about 4 feet away.
A great shot for him. And then on 16, the downwind par 5. Got it back to even. Score conditions in the afternoon were pretty tough. Justin Thomas in his round, boy, he played really good golf those first 2 days, and on the third we thought, uh-oh, here comes JT.
Well, yeah, you get off to a start like this, you're wedging it like this, leaving it right underneath the hole, get yourself to 3 under par. You think maybe, just maybe, JT continues the good play.
Tricky pin placement on the 5th, the par 3, no problem.
Back to 3 under again.
Then on 6, and just wait till you see where the pin's going to be located today.
Right. Yeah, right here we're thinking, okay, he's getting a 4 under par, and Justin Thomas is really going to be in the thick of things for the rest of the event. Unfortunately, he had 4 bogeys in a row, Pete.
Yeah, bogeyed 7, 8, 9, and 10, but then some salty game late for JT. We saw him battle a couple times, and on 16, kind of got a break with that lie. Had to clip it just right, and he did.
Yeah, JT is so, I mean, he's just got such creativity around the greens. It's
This
fun
is
to
the
watch.
10:55 starting time. Now on the tee, please welcome the 2017 and 2022 PGA champion from Florida, Justin Thomas.
That was Tim Freeze from Glen Oak Golf Club. Beard coming in nicely for that young man.
Matt Minister, the caddy for JT. You'll hear these conversations most of the day today.
I love that graphic right there. It just shows how the course has played different conditions throughout the week.
Really important to get this ball in the fairway. We got this hole located just above a big ridge in the green.
He'll hold that cut against the natural slope of that fairway, and I don't think you can draw it up much better there for JT.
Perfect.
And next on the tee, from South Africa, Aldrich Potgieter.
It's going to be fun to watch him today. You were telling me a little bit more about his game, Carl, and he can absolutely sling it out there.
Just move it. One of the strongest grips on the PGA Tour, plays with a very close club face. And that's why he hits it so far, but it's also why he can get in trouble a little bit. But
that's a quick pickup of the tee, and going to be a fun group to watch as he finds the fairway as well. Matt Every, our third member of our broadcast team, out on the course. And Matt, we were talking about it last night at dinner all week long. This leaderboard is wild. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Oh, there we go. Should be on there. I haven't. And it is wild. Look, Alex Smalley got out to that two-shot lead late last night. I don't think that's going to matter a ton today. This is anybody's ball game, especially the two guys we're following today with Potgieter and JT. Both have enough firepower to, you know, if they make some putts, they could get to that winning number, maybe 6 or 7 under. I want to give you guys a couple of names that aren't world beaters at the top of the board that maybe you want to pay attention to. Patrick Reed already won twice this year, big time talent, 3 under par. Look out for him. He's a winner. Nick Taylor, another guy that might be a problem today. A guy that when he gets into the moment, about as good as it gets, so watch out for him.
Love those two calls from Matt Every, who has been just stones all week long with his reads out on the golf course. Not so good when applying sunscreen, but we'll get into that a little bit later as we see the first. This is what Donald Ross called the gentle handshake, a firm handshake.
yeah, 443, but with the fairways running, it's just going to be a driver and a wedge. But the whole location is everything today. A massive ridge about a third of the way into this green. And then, by the way, if it rolls down that ridge, it has a chance to go off the green and way down the false front as well. So you'll see players coming in behind this whole location on the front right. Well, just over the ridge on the right. You got a little bit of a backstop if you go long on that right-hand side as well. But this is a hole that you really feel like you should have a good opportunity for birdie.
Well, we've seen about 4 different seasons out here at Aronimink so far. I mean, we
certainly
got a
have.
little bit of winter one day when we showed up, and we could see our breath showing up to the course, and got a little fall and got spring yesterday, and it might make all the way to summer today.
Now it's summer. That's right. I have 88 degrees today. It is going to be steaming out there.
So, great look at the clubhouse. And tell you what, we're lucky on these featured groups. We get a chance to dive into some of the player caddy conversations, but it's been always fun to watch JT play in these featured groups, because I think he's one of the few unique guys on tour, Carl, that like to move the ball. It almost seems like he feels better about his game when there are conditions, and you gotta shape shots a little bit more rather than just kind of traditional TrackMan golf we see a lot.
Well, it certainly engages his brain a little bit more. You know, when you have to think through a shot in a major championship, when the conditions are as difficult as they are this week, and you have to think so much about what the golf ball is going to do after it hits the ground. That's when he kind of engages the brain a little bit more and just really embraces the challenge in front of him.
Guys coming down here, as you see, Potgieter. I don't know how many guys taking those driving irons off the first here, but with his length, not an issue, and he's right in the kind of a perfect angle as we try to listen into this conversation.
I agree with that.
It's not, it can't be a full swing.
Right.
110 flag or 113?
114 flag.
111 up top, right?
Correct.
Right, I could hit just in the regular loop down one of these. It's just not going to spin much, but it'll be maybe 10, 15 foot past.
Yeah.
Right.
Field shot, you got it.
Fairly certain they're working in meters there, guys. I got 121 here for Potgieter. I'm really looking forward to watching him today. I'm very familiar with JT's game. I am not familiar with Potgieter, other than I know he absolutely mauls it off the tee. 121 back up the hill.
Nicely judged.
JT and Matt Minister will get dialed in.
Just how he drew it up off the tee. I got 97 yards to this whole location. He's only got about 3 paces short of it. He can use anything that lands into that hill and has any kind of action on it will come back down, potentially off the surface. Wind at the moment, just a breath of it dead off the right.
Just a smidge too far for JT, and with where these guys are at in this field, if they want to make a run, they're going to have to do it early. But there's some opportunities in these first 3 holes that we've seen some players like Kurt Kitayama, Alex Nord be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, these guys are certainly going to need to be at least 1 under par through the first 3 holes. As we take a look at the start here at Aronimink. Here's the second hole. Going to be some interesting hole locations today too, but you're absolutely right. They need to get off to a good start to make some noise. And you mentioned it, it's out there. I mean, Kurt Kitayama shot 30 on the front. Just a ton of bunkers out here. 174 of them.
Boys going to have to stay hydrated today with it being a little bit warmer, and question is how much will that change the way this course played really the first 2 days. We saw scoring conditions a little bit more favorable early in the round, but that wind started whipping up. And
yeah, the stat was the first 23 groups were 30 under par, and the last 18 were 30 over par yesterday.
It's amazing. I think that's what really made Smalley's round yesterday. That 31 on the way in with the bogey. The only player under par in the last 7 groups, to kind of illustrate how tough those conditions were late in the day. Matt, you think with the way the conditions playing today, you think there is a 30, a 31 out there for some of these guys out here to kind of Let's give everyone something to look at.
Definitely. I mean, take away the moment. I think that you'd see a couple 30s. This is just a big deal right now for pretty much anybody that's teeing off. You know, at 1 over or better, you're in all seriousness, you're a career day away from winning a major championship. If you go out here and play amazing golf and run the table, I mean, that's an opportunity of a lifetime in just 1 round. You've already done the hard part. All right, JT here, he's got this thing lined up, let's say about a foot outside the left. This is going to be speedy.
Run out.
Just have to respect the speed so much coming down that hill. Get just a little frisky with that thing. It'll be gone.
It's probably been. JT's played just extremely well. You look at him in the field, stroke gain off the tee, 47th, approach 45, stroke gain around the green 45, putting 14th strokes gained. So that's kind of been the strength of his week so far out here.
Yeah, he's pretty happy with that putter change that he made. He saw Cameron Young making everything he looked at and called the boys at Scotty Cameron and said, I need one of those putters. Now, Potgieter.
Doable here. Little bender from left to right.
Maybe just a little bit less speed on it. Might have taken the borrow. "43 players are beginning the day within 6 shots of the lead. That's the most through 54 holes in men's major championship history."
And look, I know that we've heard some barking about the conditions from the players, but I like it. Two solid pars.
Aldrich and JT will head out on over to the second, but we talked about the weather and the change, and I mean all the way back into 79 is going to feel even warmer than that today. And we saw beanies from some of the players,
yeah,
and rain gear. I mean, we've seen a little bit of everything.
I saw my breath. I have a rule about that.
Yeah, that means you'll be in the announcing booth, not on the golf course right now. Alex Smalley, what a story this was. Bogeyed 3 of the first 4 holes yesterday with his first lead or co-lead ever in a tournament. How did he respond? 4 birdies over the last 6 holes to have a 2-stroke lead. Now, dogleg left, par 4, second, Carl.
Yeah, Potgieter obviously has a ton of firepower to blow it over the entire clusters of bunkers on the left-hand side. Kind of a tight hole location in the front of this green, though. Not sure he'd want to hit driver and get that close to the green. We'll see what he does here in just a moment.
See the different pin placements.
On the front, up the stairs. Yeah, perfect.
Back into the wind today at the second. Those bunkers about 295 to clear, and it's going to take a big poke for JT. Tough fairway to find.
They've all been tough to find for Potgieter this week. On the first hole, he hit the fairway, and that was just his 16th fairway hit. This might need to get down.
Settle. It does settle, but traditionally we've seen a lot of that throughout the week, of just the advantage of being able to keep that ball in the fairway versus that first big cut of rough.
Well, hold on to something stationary, boys.
Carl, you ever been around with him?
No.
I'd love to see him just turning it loose around this place today.
Look at the line that he's taking. You heard the fans, huh? They just started chuckling and laughing. That was a no-doubter, and that's exactly what you guys were talking about.
310 uphill into the wind, in the air.
I mean,
wow.
That's a 290 into the wind carry over that bunker, and he didn't even blink at it. As these guys head up over to the second Thomas Potgieter feature round Sunday PGA Championship.
And that says everything. My town has seen it all. Huge moments made possible by men determined to set a new course or tame an old one. Philly demands respect for all it stands for and everything it's seen. Inside stately buildings and on tricky fairways and greens, here, where independence was declared, we the people are united by love of country, city, and this week, the PGA Championship. How much has Philly figured in the history of America? And golf? I am at liberty to say, and that says everything. My town has seen it all. Huge moments made possible by men determined to set a new course or tame an old one. Philly demands respect for all it stands for and everything it's seen. Inside stately buildings and on tricky fairways and greens, here, where independence was declared, we the people are united by love of country, city, and this week, the PGA Championship.
That was the voice of Big Dom, who's Director of Game Day Coaching Operations and the CSO, the Chief Security Officer for the Philadelphia Eagles of the NFL. I'll tell you what, the fans have been great. The people of Philadelphia have been great. As long as you're not wearing Cowboys gear, Carl, everybody's been in pretty good mood this week.
Immediately, you'll hear the E-A-G-L-E-S. Anybody from Dallas coming through?
Right, we heard that from Scotty Scheffler earlier. They were giving him a little hell. Jordan Spieth as well. So, JT knows something a little bit about a comeback. 2022 was able to get it done. 7 back, and boy, look at that haircut from John McAfee. That's a
Yeah.
haircut. That's an
solid.
old school, late 70s Mahaffey. Now the difference is with JT, there were not about 80 players that he had to get by like today.
Correct.
What do we got here, Matt?
We got 108, and not a great lie. I mean, he can get it there, no problem. It's just going to come out tumbling. More than likely needs to land this short of the green. Anything on the surface will make its way past.
Look clean.
Oh, that's a great shot.
Great spin control from JT. Because he wasn't going to get any spin out of that lie, and able to land it just shy. Look at where Potgieter put it. And again, we saw someone drive it pretty far, there here on the second two, and wasn't able to make birdie.
Yes, correct.
Awkward little shot here. 60 yards. Pin cut just 5 paces on. Sloping severely from left to right and running away from him. Again, I think he needs to land this short of the green, come in with something low, and let it check by the hole. Going to be tough to stop it by it if he lands it on the surface.
Abbreviated follow through.
Yeah, he got some spin on it, but Matt was exactly right. Needed to land that right around the front of the green, maybe even a pace short to get it close.
So we talked about that comeback. 2022 Southern Hills, 7 shots back. Really survived a near disaster on that front 9. Had to make a long putt to save bogey on that 6th hole, and then from there, mistake-free, including driving the green over on the 17. 3-hole playoff with Will Zalatoris. Secured that 2nd PGA Championship, and there was a moment yesterday early in that round where he definitely was trending, Carl.
Yeah, got it to 4 under after the birdie at 6, and you were thinking, man, JT's going for PGA Championship number 3, and it just didn't work out for him.
We'll need that flat stick to get hot in a hurry. Matt, we've talked so much. There's been so much discourse about, the setup of the course for the last 2 days. What'd you make of it yesterday and overall top to bottom this week?
I thought it's been great all week. Maybe the first 2 days could have used 1 or 2 more pins that were cut in troughs instead of up on the edges or on the spines. The other thing I think is flying under the radar a little bit. Like, you get temps in the 50s and wind out of the north 15 to 20 miles an hour at literally any course in America, and it's going to play hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah.
It just is.
That's well said. And I think almost there was maybe a mentality of the players in the practice rounds during the week thinking, all right, hey, we got a chance to shoot 20 under, just bomb it and gouge it. And the conditions and the course setup said not so fast.
Yeah, that got thrown out the window real quick.
Pretty flat overall here as far as speed's concerned. He does have the wind at his back. It's going to swing off to his left. Definitely makeable, though.
Yes, sir.
Strong belt gain by Potgieter, by the way.
Strong. He's had to adjust that size too. He's lost about 20 pounds over the last year or so. Really kind of put himself in position to get bigger, faster, and stronger. But it's all about the touch with this putt, Carl.
Yeah, this was a beautiful putt. I mean, the speed was just spot on. Playing good golf when you're going through a body transformation is not an easy thing to do. Now JT trying to top him.
Yeah, same drill here for JT. Just a little bit of movement from right to left.
It's that fine line for JT of being cautiously aggressive, and you have to make birdies, Carl, but you also can't get careless early in the round too.
Yeah, the last thing in the world you want to do is start pressing in a major championship. That's a real good way to make bogeys.
So they head to the 3rd, par 4, playing 450 and got a few bunkers.
You keep it up that right-hand side, you don't have to worry about the bunkers, but definitely can hit it in that 3rd cluster on the left-hand side, about 320 yards to that cluster of bunkers, but a pretty accessible hole location today if you get the ball in the fairway. There's a big slope left of the flagstick that'll curve that ball down towards the hole.
Top right, kind of island pin placement. Already yielding 10 birdies so far earlier today. So this is an opportunity that if Potgieter is going to make some type of charge up the leaderboard, He's going to have to do it here. He's going with the driving iron that we saw him absolutely hit it perfect on one. Yeah.
He needs to hug the right-hand side of this fairway here with this club. 290 to carry the bunkers on the left. I know he's long, but
he's saying hang on.
Pulled it a little bit.
Get a lie.
290 to carry the bunkers. Just in an iron.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to fit it.
Yeah, it's hot out, Carl.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Right. Is it mostly down? Mostly. Pretty much playing west now? Yes.
Matt, he's got a gap in his bag that none of my clubs go to.
Yeah, you and me both.
wait.
Lesson driver here for JT, it looks like. And I like this. It should fit nicely. You're really looking for something between 290 and 340. And with the fairways firming up, that's a tough ask. You almost have to work this left to right to knock some steam out of the ball when it lands.
Trying to carve it, and you see with a quick club twirl. Oh,
What a terrible kick that was.
Kidding me?
Ball kicked dead left. It was fading and it kicked dead left.
Well, Matt will scurry up there to see what type of a lie that Aldrich and Justin have right there as we continue our final round coverage of the PGA Championship at Aronimink. Welcome back to final round coverage of the PGA Championship at Aronimink. Justin Thomas, par start. Aldrich Potgieter with the birdie on at 2, and I can't wait to see the reaction of Justin Thomas when he finds out that his ball, which we all thought was going to be right in the middle of the fairway, he had the club twirled and everything, Matt Every, and I don't think he knows that ball is in the rough. And oh boy, let's see how he takes the news.
He's a pro, Peter. It's not his first time getting a bad break.
Yeah, I wouldn't call
But
that.
this one definitely is going to sting. Just a terrible lie on the downslope. Just extremely healthy, a ton of grass behind the ball. And the pennies, he has no business firing at, really, coming out of the rough. He's got it. The only shot he's got is to kind of trundle something down towards the left front portion of the screen and get his ball to come to rest somewhere in the middle of it.
30 yards of fairway.
Ways back here, 167 yards. Wind down off the left. And we're really, I think he's just looking at flying this about 140, and you got to take long out of play. That right bunker is no good either, especially if it doesn't get on the upslope.
How do you even stop this ball?
was just a terrible lie, guys.
Oh, my.
And that could potentially be a 2 or 3 shot, bounce that he just got off the tee.
Yeah, easily, because if that ball kicks straight, he's flipping a wedge in there.
Another lie that's not great. 139 here for Potgieter. I guess he's got a better angle, but we're reaching here if I'm looking for anything positive out of this. This has got to land on the front edge, if not 5 or 10 paces short, and run up.
This
might
shot
need to
out
bite.
to the right.
He's saying to go. Going to be short-sided.
Does have a backstop behind the flagstick from that angle, though.
Ball just really kind of squirted out, and you show just the advantage to be able to get the ball in the fairway. Gives the club to Luke Hopkins, his caddy, who, by the way, Clemson Tiger himself. How do you feel about that, Gamecock, Carl Paulson?
I'm pretty sure I know why you brought that up.
He was a player, 4 top 10 finishes as a senior over at Clemson. Yeah, there'll be different sides of the equation in that last weekend in November. Gamecocks, Clemson. You'll be an LSU Tiger fan week 1 when LSU hosts Dabo and the Tigers.
Yes,
Thank you.
I will.
Now, this is a tricky one for JT.
And nobody's practicing these.
Is this a clipper or a...
It's got to be. I mean, we're looking at around 80 yards if I'm eyeballing it, and he's got to clip it just right. This is nightmare fuel right here.
That's a great shot.
That is awfully well.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
Frankly amazing. How many times do you think you practice anywhere from 60 to 75 yards out of a bunker, Carl?
Never.
The answer is 0.
0. Would you guys change when you saw the course set up a certain way? Would you change the way you set up practicing in the week, knowing, hey, I think this was going to lead to a lot more high, or super long irons, or a lot more
Sure.
3/4 wedges, and change your strategy of practice throughout the week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'd say a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a golf course where you're going to be hitting a lot more clubs of less than driver, yeah, you're going to work on those clubs a little bit more, but nothing crazy. I think it has more to do, Matt, with what you need to work on. I mean, if wedge game was bad the week before, you're going to spend a little bit more time on the wedges.
Yeah, and some guys just, I don't know. I had a conversation with Patrick Harrington about this once, about certain parts of your game. If they're weak, do you spend time working on those and forget about what you're good at, or do you just wear out what you're good at and kind of dance with what got you there with the other stuff? Tough one here for Potgieter.
Clips nicely. That's a good shot.
We just haven't seen guys get a ton of action out of the sand this week.
Yeah, I think it's the grains of sand that they use here. A little bit different than what these guys are used to seeing week in and week out on the PGA Tour.
I struggled at Cricket Club with that as well, too.
Trying to think if I hit any bunkers.
Well, brag.
Oh, yeah, I did. I hit in a bunch of bunkers.
Be extremely important up and down for Potgieter, who now finds himself just 5 back of the lead. But there are some rounds to be had out there. A 6 under for Kirk Kitayama's get himself all the way back to 2 under in the championship.
Alex Noren had it to 4 under. Just made a bogey at 11.
Spieth 2 under as well today. kind of in that little valley here, Matt, for JT, kind of going up the tunnel.
It's going to go to his left for sure. It's going to be quick as well, very quick. You can tell he knows he can't lose any shots to the field out here today if he has ideas of taking this thing down. I know it's a stretch, but all these guys have that belief in the back of their mind. You better believe he does.
Well, this would be one hell of a par.
Might be a two-stroke break in the bad way after that tee shot. I think he thought he had just carved it perfectly, and shows you just the subtle nuances of how Aronimink can show its teeth in the smallest ways.
Yeah, this whole location today at the third is just reeks of a little bleeder wedge, kind of a funnel pin, and neither one of these guys were able to take advantage of that because they couldn't find the fairways. And that bounce, I mean, JT did all he could with the tee shot. It was just a terrible timing for a terrible break. But it's one of the it's one of those hole locations where, Carl, if you find the fairway, it's hard to mess it up.
Yeah. There's going to be a big discrepancy in scoring average here at the third from guys playing out of the rough and playing out of the fairway.
Back up the hill here for Potgieter, going to bend to his left.
Yeah, two really good putts that didn't go in. Potgieter back to even on his round today.
So a bogey on the third for Justin Thomas. So we'll head on over to the fourth, and needing something to catch fire to get back involved into this leaderboard right now, as you see Alex Smalley. Never won on tour. Slept with a two-stroke lead from Matty Schmid, Nick Taylor, John Rahm. A litany of names. See Rory McIlroy and Xander at 3 under. Martin Keimer, what a week that he has had. Cam Smith playing well. So, story that was circling around talking about Martin Keimer earlier this week. Somebody had asked him at the Champions Dinner, "Are you playing in any right now?"
Yeah.
Martin says, "Yeah, I'm playing this week. I didn't come over here just for the dinner." I think he took that personally, and he has played a brilliant 3 rounds to this point. Now, Potgieter on the fourth.
Back in and off the right today. Fairly comfy win for these guys.
That, I mean, I feel like he could play rugby, golf, beer league, softball. I think Aldrich can do it all.
Yeah, rugby seems like it would be a good one.
I think on an Oklahoma draw, I'd take Potgieter over JT. I think that would be a heavy money favorite.
JT's only chance is to outrun him. 2 birdies and a bogey so far here at the fourth for JT. Pulled it slightly.
He deserves a break. Give him a break, and did not get it. All right, so we'll see what JT has out of that left-hand rough. Coming up, Natalie Sheehan's going to give us a little breakdown of what makes JT's game on the course stand out as we continue our feature good coverage at Aronimink.
Welcome back to the PGA Championship. I'm Natalie Sheehan, teaching professional out of Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida. We are here in very windy Frisco, Texas, and I know the wind is picking up at Aronimink as well. So a few years ago, JT tried to make a little swing change. He is notorious for having his feet a little bit off the ground as he makes contact with the golf ball. He said aesthetically he wanted to try and keep his back foot down on the ground, so he worked really hard on that, and he hit it terribly. Now the lesson in that, for those of you at home, is there's no perfect way to swing the golf club. There's no reason to change your golf swing for aesthetics only. The only reason to change something in your golf swing is if it directly affects the flight of the golf ball. So make sure you're working with a coach in your game. We're not just consuming tons of social media tips and making our swing look a certain way just to make it look good, but make sure you've got a real game plan in place, because it could make your game go backwards otherwise.
Well said by Natalie, our teaching pro from the Pelican Golf Club. And talking about, like, you know, can imagine somebody telling Scotty Scheffler, hey, the whole footwork thing's not working out for you, buddy. You need to kind of change that. But JT talked about wanting to change it and why it's working.
Well, everybody has their own DNA, their own fingerprint, so to speak, and that's what makes them so good. If you want to go watch a perfect golf swing, you go watch some of these teaching pros that have great golf swings. Very good players as well, but the thing that makes these guys so consistent is that DNA, that fingerprint, so to speak.
Now, Matt, what's the DNA of this shot?
I think his hand's forced here, guys. 164, not a great lie. Really just looking to chase something up the middle of the green and take a 30 or 40 footer. Anything on the surface would be a pretty nice shot.
Oh, yeah.
Settle.
Easy now. Easy. Job well done.
Peter, I think Potgieter heard you talking about his driving today.
Yeah.
3 of 4 so far. Position A. Right here. 143. Nice angle from the right side. It's still a very tough pin. It's cut up on this spine. I really don't think you can fly it back there and keep it anywhere near it. So he's going to have to hit some kind of golf shot to get this thing close.
Oh,
just, and look at this, just absolutely hunt for Red October there. It just dives into that rough.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all week. Anytime you pull the ball like that, it goes a few yards more in the air, and it can get you in real trouble.
So we had just seen Natalie Sheehan talk a little bit about how windy it was. Well, you'll get an opportunity to see PGA Championship next year. You can go to visit PGAchampionship.com/register as the strongest field in golf is back to Texas after 60 years, making that return to Dallas-Fort Worth in 2027. Fields Ranch East at the just great facilities the PGA has in Frisco. And you see every time we show a clip of Natalie or PGA Frisco, you see that wind whipping, my friend.
It is humming out there.
Vroom. Be a Open Championship type conditions out there. We get there in May. I think that was blowing some 25 miles an hour. And again, I think that's kind of where JT really kind of cut through in round 2, as we see Potgieter just flying a little bit long. That was a crafty shot by JT in this one.
Yeah, it was exactly the way that you needed to play it. Matt nailed it. If he hits a good shot, it's going to be 40 feet.
Matt, wind-wise out there today, I mean, obviously we saw tough conditions those first 2 days. Yesterday, the wind was whipping in the afternoon, but today, fairly docile?
There's enough there to get your attention. It doesn't take much here either, Peter. It's a pretty exposed piece of property. I know we've touched on it throughout the week, but there's been numerous times where I've wanted to take my phone out and just show how cool this place is, and it just doesn't do it justice. It's like a painting out here. All right, let's get to Potgieter. This is dead.
Well,
pretty good, guys.
Yeah,
that was a
say,
nasty lie.
The Undertaker coming out of the crypt there is. Just you have to kind of dead hand that and just really kind of almost guess, Carl, of how that ball's going to pop out. You got to hit it just right.
You know, guys, hitting fairways today is going to be a massive part of who takes this trophy home later. You cannot play this golf course from the rough. It's just impossible to get to some of these pins, especially with the greens baking out. You're going to have to hit golf shots, too, when you do get in the fairway.
Yeah,
It's not just your routine sand wedge or routine 9-iron.
that's a good point, Matt, because the ball just wants to find its way away from the hole, it seems like, when you're coming out of the rough.
Okay, downhill, right to left slider here for Justin.
Got a great worm cam view here.
No slide.
Oh, never did.
Wow.
He just thought that ball was really going to tumble right to left and never took the break like he thought. All right, so par for Justin Thomas, still trying to maybe find something like he found yesterday on number 5 at birdie. Try to see if he can get something going on this front side. This would be a heck of an up and down Potgieter, and just a really tough spot he was at after going over the green there, Carl.
Yeah, I did very well to get the ball here. That was a much harder shot than he made it look, for sure. Should be pretty close to the fall line here, Matt, or is this still going to go a little left?
Got it pretty close. I mean, that was a really nice chip shot he hit. Now, you got to pay this one off here if you're Potgieter.
It's about as wide of a putting stroke as
Yeah.
you'll see from anybody on tour. Right at that same way. So he'll drop another. Back-to-back bogeys after the birdie on the second, as they'll head on over to the par 3 fifth. And speaking of 5, there's a bunch of different ways to watch our feature grid coverage. 5 different options. So we got Spieth and Rico, JT, and Potgieter, our crew, Tagalo, Fitzpatrick, and Colin Elvis there. Also our featured hole coverage of 13, 16, and 17. So we head to the 5th, one of the more interesting greens out here, Carl.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of little ridges and valleys in it. And they put this flagstick on the back left today. You can use, there's a little ridge to the right of the hole that you can use to get it to kind of curl back towards that flagstick on the left-hand side. There's a big trough in the middle of this green that we're going to see a lot of players in, and you're going to have to putt up and over that ridge if you don't get it all the way in the back left of this green.
Ruffles has ridges. It's kind of a potato chip type green on the 5th. It's kind of hoping that they would play at around 10, 110, and let these guys kind of zip some wedges. I think yesterday would have been that day.
179 here today, guys. A little bit of breeze picking up at the moment. Quartering in off the right. It's actually a comfortable wind to help frame this shot for the players here at the 5th. Dangerous hole location, though. It's an accessible one, but if you go long, big trouble.
He's tracking. He's holding that finish.
Oh, here we go.
Well done.
Keep curling.
Makes that, and he'll be one of a very few players in the field that will birdie that hole back-to-back days. I think that's the first time I've seen the wind all week long with something less than 7 or 8 miles an hour. It's been 10 to 12 for the majority of this championship.
As far as conditions, guys, this is far and away the easiest of the 4 rounds, really the easiest of any of the rounds they've been on property. It was pumping in the practice rounds as well.
Towering shot.
Good solid swing, though.
All right, good play below the hole. We see the course getting a little bit warmer. The leaders getting closer to teeing off as we continue our final round coverage for the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, at Aronimink. Would you like to hear the stories for Gary Player? Not very shy when it comes to getting out there and talking about his career. 1962. He talks about how this was really a change for his trajectory. I know we've talked about it for featured group, but for those just joining us for the first time, he had just come off the heels of the Open Championship, had missed the cut at Royal Troon, was even debating on retiring from the game, came here to Aronimink, won, and the rest is history for one of the legends of the game. Now, Potgieter for a 2 on 5.
Good look here. Back up the hill. Going to leak to his right.
Oh, what a good effort.
That was Brooks Koepka-like. So we saw Koepka yesterday strike the ball extremely well, but just couldn't get a couple of birdies to fall. There are some birdies falling today, though. Kurt Kitayama, 6 under on his round, looking to possibly shoot one of the lowest rounds we've ever seen in Sunday at a major championship.
He's got under 13 feet to shoot 63 on the 18th hole.
Been done 8 times in major championship history.
That's a heck of a round.
That'll make you $1 or $2.
All right, JT, good look here at the 5th.
Great look. We need some juice, boys.
Yeah.
A little left to righter.
We got a great view of it. He's aiming about 8 to 10 inches left of the hole.
All speed.
There we go.
It in. Something catches his eye just right on the 5th. Back-to-back birdies. I think it's also important, too, for a young player like Potgieter to play with JT, someone who's won a couple of majors, to see, hey, you're grinding a couple of groups back. What that strategy is he cleans up his par. He'll take a quick little stroll over to the 6, where this pin placement kind of chuckled when I saw it earlier today, as we see this leaderboard as jam-packed as we have ever seen in a major championship. Matt Every saying he liked Patrick Reed. Sitting there at 3 under. Kurt Kitayama going to have an opportunity to shoot 63. So there are numbers to be had out there. So Cam Young with the birdie to get his game going. We covered him in round 2. He was playing as confident as anybody. Did see a rare 3-putt from 3 feet from Cam yesterday. I see JT and others on that leaderboard. What a story about Matt Fitzpatrick and Alex Fitzpatrick. CP, I mean, just
incredible.
You know, it's one thing to have one guy play well, but can you imagine 2 brothers at the top of their game at pretty much the same time? Is pretty amazing.
It's like every week, it seems like we're playing pick a Hoygaard. Now we're picking a Fitzpatrick.
I do. I'm coming down on that. Are you good with that? Yes, I am.
Less than driver here for JT.
I don't hate it. Need if you can't get anywhere near the green, really need to be out of the fairway with a number you can generate some spin, because this pin is filthy today, fellas. Cut right up against that front bunker.
Needs it to keep cutting, sit down just a touch. Settle.
Okay.
All right.
It's one of the few that we've seen kick off with that little cut and go back in the fairway this week.
Ideal too.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't have a better angle over there.
Well, we saw yesterday, you and I scoped it out early with Rory McIlroy. There was a different approach to his tee shot here on the 6th yesterday. Of course, the wind playing different, and he ends up driving the green.
This is a favorable wind.
Yep.
Let's see it, boys.
Down off the left. We got the Chief out.
Let's go.
Yes.
Doable.
This is going to have some serious pace. I think it would have been a little late.
Yeah, I think he lost it out on that right side.
Man, that ball was in the air for a long time.
That's going to be quite the adventure from about 35 yards
That's
out.
no good.
That's no bueno. Sunshine and sundresses out here on Championship Sunday as we continue our feature group coverage of the 108th PGA Championship at beautiful Aronimink.
In football and golf, Sundays are for winning. And there's no better place to win than right here, Philadelphia, where the history runs deep and so does desire. Fly Eagles. In football and golf, Sundays are for winning. And there's no better place to win than right here, Philadelphia, where the history runs deep and so does desire. Fly Eagles Fly is our rallying cry. And this week it applies to birdies too, at the PGA Championship. The world's best will battle the pressure and rise to the moment for America's most passionate fans in the city of liberty, brotherly love, and champions. Go Birds!
City of Brotherly Love has shown that throughout the week. It was interesting, you know, the famous story about the Philly fans booing Santa back in the day, and we've seen a little bit of fun gamesmanship, you know, giving some of the Dallas guys a little hell, Cowboy fans.
Sure.
Carl Carlson, Peter Burns, Matt Every, but you know, we saw some rowdy crowds at Bethpage before, but I feel like the fans here have been fantastic.
They've been great
all week long.
Very golf knowledgeable, understand the difficulty of the test that these guys are faced with, and have been reacting appropriately. Minus the idiots that scream mashed potatoes and get in the hole.
Never kind of figured that out. In between two clubs here for J2. Finally got a break. Ball nestled back off that first cut, get back into the fairway. Rare that we saw that today.
I've never seen a pin like this in my life, guys.
Why is that?
Well, it's depending on who's pacing it. I mean, if it's somebody with that's 6 foot or above, that's 2 paces from the buildup of the bunker there. It's when you walk up and start giggling when you see it. It's just nuts. 104 here for JT. He's gonna have to cut the legs out from underneath this and work it from left to right to get this close. Got a little bit of a backstop behind it.
I think this sets his eye pretty
Yeah,
good. Like to hit that little bleeder.
You heard what Matt described, what kind of shot he has to get it close, and this from 104 yards.
Not many better than him at that.
Nope.
So good.
Again, that ball was.
Look at that flagstick. Not only is it only 2 paces on Matt, but it's all straight downhill from that bunker. My goodness.
This is dead here. I mean, he can take 30 feet, 40 feet past all day long, but any ideas of getting this close are, you can throw those out the door.
You see that pin and the great grizzly bear John McGinnis prowling on the 6th. Oh,
Yeah, he went for it.
that's gonna be a fun little chip, and oh, he had to think that thing was awfully good. Just got a little sideways on that driver, just a touch late, leaked into that bunker, and he might keep that club in his hand for his next shot.
He's looking kind of like that lie might be a little funky.
They're all funky this week.
That's a good point.
Carl.
That's a good point.
All of them. You don't know what's going on here. Maybe some sprinkler head.
I was trying to take a look at it.
Now we're looking for a rules official.
There's got to be something down there.
Other than a sprinkler head, I don't know what else it could be. It wouldn't be like a liner, would it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they're going to be waiting to see.
How about Kurt Kitayama today?
Hello, Kitty. Guy's a stud.
7 under par 63 with a birdie at the 18th.
Wow.
Ties the lowest final round in major history, the 9th time it's been done. Just the 2nd time over at the PGA Championship. Brad Faxon did it back in 1995. So while Potgieter's going to wait for some type of a rules official to get a read, JT.
A tough read here for JT. The natural slope wants this to go from right to left, but the buildup off the bunker might hold it up with this whole location cut so closely to it.
It's a good call, Matt.
Just trying to get that thing shifted into a higher gear and can't get it going. Just a great wedge shot. Just a good putt. Just just a tough pin placement today. Really the only defense of this hole on the 6th.
That and the 90 bunkers on this hole.
Yeah. So taking a little bit of a break here. As you see, this is the conversation that's being had. I have to imagine it was some type of sprinkler head or irrigation.
Yeah, it's a sprinkler head, guys.
It's kind of one of those deals too. It's like, all right, what kind of lie is this going to be?
Interesting that he didn't clean it. Oh, that didn't look good.
Sure, if there's a way to drop it in any of these rows that. Trying to make sure he did actually get that relief.
I don't think he got relief from one of the sprinkler heads.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have to get relief from the other.
He always has a pretty wide base.
Yeah, he's not just doing that to get relief from the sprinkler head. He's
This is just a setup.
This can't be that hard, guys.
I know. It can't be.
Let's
get on with it.
Game on. He was.
All right, we're ready to roll now.
Yeah, he's ready.
Not an easy one here for Potgieter. Just going to give it a little stab, but it's not too often you have shots these short out of the primary rough. See what these hands are like.
Okay. I was expecting a lot bigger swing than that, but that was nicely done.
The thighs of a rugby player, the hands of a surgeon. That's a phrase I never thought I'd ever utter. So they'll head on to the 7th, the par 4. Down the hill, 438 yards today.
Well, this fairway has proved all week that it is very difficult to hit for these guys. A big slope from right to left as the hole turns from left to right. We have seen players struggling all week to get it in the fairway here. Got a back hole location today, so you can play out of the rough and kind of drive it into the green and have it kind of roll back to that back tier. It's all right to left on this green.
Just 3 birdies so far today, and so far 40 players have teed it up here on the 7th.
I don't think they are. We're pretty far behind.
11 of them have hit the fairway, just 27%.
Wow.
Second hardest fairway to hit on this golf course because of what we're talking about, guys. Not only just blind landing area, a huge kind of swale on the fairway, but really, Matt, I got to imagine it's starting to get a little toasty out there. And
the only thing they got going for him here is the wind's pretty much dead off the left, which will help frame this shot for him and carve it back into that right to left slope. I was talking with JT while Potgieter was getting that ruling back there, and he was just giggling about that pin. And he said it's been a blast this week to play this golf course.
There you go.
You know, these guys don't get beat up too often or challenged too often, and I think they relish it.
Oh, had some serious curve on it.
will it be enough?
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Oh, wow. See, again, there's certain shots. And again, I think JT enjoys the challenge of weeks like this, and it's the mentality of whether you're going to complain about it or embrace it.
He brought up a good point, too. He's like, you know, it's not like we're hitting 7-irons into these pins because we have wedges into them. Like, it's a fair fight for sure.
This might just go over everything.
He's asking it to stay left. Missed it over on the right-hand side the last time. The question is, did it get through? That ball kind of all the way down, and now it catches the speed slot. Settle. I mean,
that might be 400 yards.
Buckle up. What a drive for Potgieter there, and what a round for Kirk Kitayama. As we saw something special brewing early on the third. Got to get a couple to fall. That's when you know it's something special.
You start making putts of that length.
Here in the round, that second hole had that birdie to get him there. So out of the rough, just got to hit it just the right place.
He was far enough left here at the third that he could run it up the mouth of the green and use the slope to get it close. Look at that.
DJ Khaled voice, another one. Gets the birdie on the 6th. Buckets on the 13th.
And here he is. for the 63.
Just the 9th time.
What a move. My goodness.
Over 50 places, or 50 places, I should say, for him. Out in 30. And a clean card. 7 birdies on the day, 17 greens hit. So it's out there. There will be some numbers today, so looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Alex Noren 4 under in his round today. Fitzpatrick 3 under. Cantlay has a good round going as well. But I'm not sure if you'll see a better drive today than Aldrich's. Potgieter challenged the dog leg and just hit the speed slot.
376 yards.
Is that how far he went?
Yeah, he's got 61 left.
Well, that'll hunt. Just a little over 2 hours away. Those guys right now, they watching golf. They're
Sure.
thinking about anything else differently. We've heard from some of the caddies they enjoy watching it a little bit to get a read on how the course is played.
Yeah, I mean, you're leaving something on the table if you're not watching a little bit of it this morning.
Now, they're watching, but they're watching on mute.
Right.
They're not trying to hear anything said about them, that's for sure.
So JT finding the fairway and
74 yards a roll. How about that?
that's decent.
Found the fairway, but still a really tough shot here with a wedge. 134 yards downhill, wind at the moment freshening, pretty much dead off the left, pin in the back left. There's just nothing comfortable about this shot. If he wants to get it close, guys, he's gonna have to manipulate something and probably bring it in from right to left and get it back there that way.
Let's see the flags up on the grandstands. Trying to bring it in from the right-hand side. Quality shot.
Not much of a reward for a tee shot that's 380 yards.
Seriously.
This is a terrible angle, down and off the left wind. No green at all to work with. I think he's got to be looking out near JT's ball. Or do that.
Wow. Had to get it just right in that landing area, and he did.
That's the best shot he's hit today.
That's a great point, Matt, because we saw some of these holes just the pin placements, even with a wedge in your hand, you have to be so precise.
It's just so interesting how they figure out to find a place to put all of these flag sticks where the ball just wants to go away from the hole.
Part of the brilliance of the Donald Ross design and the great job of Kerry Haig and his crew of setting up this championship venue. As you see that little front on the left-hand side that could be an issue, but we've seen a couple of made putts so far today. I'm glad, Matt, you heard that from JT saying this was a blast, because I think some guys might say it just being facetious or sarcastic, but I do think that some way it's at least a little bit of a mental edge if you're approaching it as like, hey, I like this.
There's no doubt it was genuine, whatever he said to me, but I also think it just piques a level of interest in this guy and these guys that only gets ticked certain times a year. There's a run on the tour where it feels like 25 unders winning every week, and every hole is pound driver, and then fly the ball to exactly where you want it to land and hope you make your 10 or 15 footers. And it's the complete opposite here, and it's been a treat to watch, and apparently it's been a treat for these guys to play as well. Back down the hill here for Justin. Got like a cup, maybe two of movement from right to left. Very makeable.
Yes, sir.
Great read by Matt. Even better putt for JT, who finds another birdie on the card. All right, Potgieter.
Make it
Just
sound,
do that, guys.
Just make it sound so simple, right, Matt?
That's all you got to do.
Just do that.
Why didn't you make that putt?
Go in the hole. Don't you like your home?
The old junior golf dad advice right there.
Yeah.
Why'd you hit it in the water?
Yeah, well,
because I was trying to make you mad. All right.
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah. Well, if he was watching JT, he'd have gotten the read. No secrets here.
Boy, that is a wide stance for putting.
Get. It's a couple times he's been.
He's not hitting bad putts. They're just not going in.
Very, again, we saw that in the round with Brooks Koepka yesterday. Hit the ball extremely well, but just could not get the flat stick rolling. As they will head on over to the par 3 8th. Well, that might be a little bit of a bottleneck.
Well, they had that ruling, so it should be clear.
I bet the merch tent did some business this week. If you came out on Thursday, you're buying completely different gear than you are here on Championship Sunday.
I'm telling you, I bumped into at least 20 people in that place. It was jam-packed.
So the 8th is one of the more interesting holes here at Aronimink, and one of the most interesting men in all of golf. Ken Brown gives us a little bit of a look in.
But the tee is forward again today, but it's an elevated tee, which always is difficult if you're playing down to a green, particularly if the wind is in your face. And the flag today, not on the left as it was yesterday, is down the right side. Long, wide green. And it's always a tricky par 3. It's the second hardest hole this week, and it'll be tricky today as well. And I've just marked some things on the green. Now, with the pin on the right, the green runs away from you on the right, and here is your safe shot. Play at the centre of the green. It's the widest point, and you've got a bit of a back stop at there. So there you've got a chance of holding the green. Then you have to two-putt from here. If you're going to go for the flag, well, it's a different story. You've got to land it and hold it by the flag. You've got to land it in an area not much bigger than this. On the little upslope, kill it and hope it skips over and runs down. If you carry another 2 or 3 yards, it'll skid on. And this is the upturn walk. Anywhere around this green, if you're not quite right, you'll just see it just trickles off, no matter what happens. Off she goes, and down there, over there, and over the back's very tricky. So it's upturn, very difficult. Here's a narrow portion of green. It's so easy to slip over the back if you go for it. If you land on the little upslope, you've got half a chance. It's a little bit dependent on the wind direction. It keeps swirling around. If the wind's a little bit into the players, they can probably hit a high cut and land it softly. But if it isn't, it's straight across. Ooh, this is a difficult pin.
I just want him to narrate different parts of my life. Like, wow, just going to be brilliant. If you see him, he's going to have to merge into the HOV lane and
Bad decision.
yeah,
Get
just
the chili.
why did he eat the 4th Uncrustable? It's just a bloody flabbergasted that he had his 9th Celsius this week. All right, on the 8th, 216 yards. Ken was just talking about it. That back right pin placement. Yeah, average proximity today, not close.
No, anywhere on this green is a welcome sight for sure. Look at all the movement on a hole that's 250 yards from the back of the back tee. Playing 216 today, like Ken said, and a little bit of wind coming out of the left-hand side. Might help a shot work its way back to that back right portion of the green. And there is a back up here.
It was 17 that we saw Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
With a tough swing earlier this week. JT hit it to 6 feet when that hole was playing about 240.
Matt, did you ever get to see the shot that Shane Lowry hit?
I did. That was impressive.
It was. As you see JT properly putting on sunscreen.
Never been. I've never been the spray guy for the face.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about
okay,
it.
Matt, just what happened yesterday? I mean, we've been looking at the different TrackMan stuff. We've been looking at the numbers, everything. But yet you had to battle through something yesterday with sunscreen.
I did, yeah. I have a big head, Peter.
It is abnormally large.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's normal, but and I have some nice lettuce, so I'm not going to put a hat over it ever. I'll put a visor on it for sure, but there are no visors this week here, and the only visors they have in the gift shop are the ones I can't do those. They're not the big brimmed ones, you know.
Yeah, Keith mentioned.
So I left those alone, and I'm raw dogging it out here this week. I got some shades, but I put the sunscreen on, and I have to get my forehead because, I have a TV show Mondays, 7 p.m. on the Golf Channel called The Drop, and I can't be having my forehead burnt out there.
Yeah.
So I put the sunscreen on the forehead, started sweating, got into my eye, and it stayed in my eye from like 16 to 18. So today, no sunscreen, umbrella.
Look at
the man.
The man looking like Mary Poppins out
That's
here.
right. Hey, I am catching so much heat for this.
Rightfully so. Look at our princess right here on number 8.
I've gotten like 4 nice umbrellas out here. So good. I don't give it. You know what?
Yeah, that's the best part. Is you don't care less.
When you got to be on television, you got to protect your moneymaker right there, man. I completely understand.
You know all about that, Peter.
That's why they pay the makeup crew quite a bit of money. I thought he was joking about the umbrella.
Oh, no. I saw him walking around with it.
Veteran play.
Yeah, it's pretty veteran move.
Right.
You roll through the summer months on the tour, like John Deere, Detroit, Minnesota, Minneapolis. The umbrella is a lifesaver.
Was it the lined one with the sunshade?
No, this one isn't.
Okay.
But it doesn't take much. Just a little layer of protection.
That's why you never meet your heroes, kids.
That's true. That's why I've never met Scott Skiles.
That's true. 30 assists one time for the Orlando Magic.
Pretty sure he still holds the record.
We need to have a throwback tour event. Just do that. Just
80s gear.
80s gear.
Bellata golf balls.
I mean, tour Bellatas.
So good. Persimmons.
Persimmons. No club with more than 56 degrees of
half-inch metal spikes.
Yes.
Just hear the click clack on the
all steel shafts. Let's go.
I'm in.
Even if you don't smoke, you got to smoke on the tee. Ripping heaters.
Leather bottom shoes with the half-inch nails. Yes.
Thought you were going to say apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur, but that's a different story. Yeah.
No cavity backs. Everything has to be blades.
MP29s, some old Mizunos.
Yeah.
Rifle shafts.
1 through sand wedge, a driver, and a 3-wood. Let's go.
I had an MP29 once. In February.
I used to.
That was the best thing that ever happened in my game because I knew I had to go straight to cavity.
Yeah, I used MP29s for 3 years on the tour. What
Why?
the hell was I thinking? That's the great question. Why? Because when you dot it, there is not a better feeling in the world.
God.
All right, wind's kind of kicking up a little bit here.
It is. Elevated tee shot as well, which always leaves a level of uncertainty. 216 today, all the way to this back right hole location. You can get to it. It's got to come in from the left, but there's a little bit of a bank over there that'll help feed this ball there. Anything long is going to roll off down towards the 10th green, and that bunker short today isn't great. It's going to leave it very difficult up and in.
GT has hit some really nice shots here at the 8th so far this week.
Yeah, it just didn't turn over.
Might need to get down.
It turned over. He was asking for that thing to cut a little bit.
That's going to be hairy, guys.
Stops on the downslope.
It's a great look in that shade that Matt Every has from his umbrella.
Well, that's a cheer from the 2nd green, which is just adjacent to this 8th tee box. Scotty Scheffler rolling one in.
I mean, we are going to be in for an afternoon.
Epic.
Yep.
Stay there.
Taking dead aim. He's saying stay there, but it's leaking out to the right. Settle.
Bye-bye.
Oh, buddy. Well, it's a green hit. It's not the one that he wanted.
We figured we'd see that this week.
Hey, look at that guy. Oh, my God. Gladys socks and everything. That is swagger, folks. Our favorite golden girl, Matt Every, on the golf course. Sunday coverage of PGA Championship. Continue our final round coverage of the PGA Championship. Scotty Scheffler trying to make a run.
Yeah, this was the cheer you just heard as he slams it into the back of the cup at the 2nd. He had a really nice shot into the 1st, and it just barely spun back down that hill.
One of those names that when you see start charging up that leaderboard, start thinking, oh, buddy,
Yeah.
here we go.
If and when he gets it to 4 under par today, change the complexion of this tournament.
Like how you said, if and when, because I don't think there's a doubt there's going to be a win with some scoring conditions out there. All right, another rules official visit.
It's a mandatory drop.
I'm down by the green, behind the green, guys, and looking up towards the tee where the 3rd tee is, where Scotty is right now. It is a zoo out here. Things are going to get hectic this afternoon. A pretty routine drop over here for Potgieter. Just taking, what's it called, Carl, from the wrong surface? You're older, so you should know the rules better.
Yeah, I should, but I don't.
Either way, it's a mandatory drop and free relief. Probably would have played the same shot regardless if he'd drop or not. I have a hard time seeing him do anything with this but putt it. JT's on the other hand, guys, he's dead. I mean, this is going to take all the skill in the world to get this up and down, really, to get it within like 10 feet. It's kind of sat down a little bit. There's two options. You could open up a 60 and go upstairs with it, but it's a high risk shot. The other one, it looks like from his practice swings, he's going to bank this into the hill, which I think is equally as high risk. It's just a difficult shot here, Carl.
Yeah, especially when you're coming out of the rough, because you got to judge how it's going to come out.
And everything's running away from him. It's a steep climb.
Running away from him.
That's not bad.
It's almost like a bit of a layup there. That was really well done.
I mean, I've done that out of the rough where you're trying to bank it into the hill. You think it's going to come out slow, and you completely whiff the hill, and the ball goes screaming across the green.
Have that putt straight back into that wind. Now on the other side of it, Aldrich.
Got the flat stick out. No surprise. Pretty tight surfaces here, tight aprons around the surfaces here at Aronimink. Also have a slight downslope, which might help make his decision a little easier. Overall, this is not that difficult of a shot. Obviously, it's going to be about judging the speed. He's got about a 2 to 3 foot climb back up the slope, and then it's going to level off. But as far as movement's concerned, he might have a little left to right in this, but it's pretty much right back up the trough.
This is a way to find yourself on SportsCenter later tonight if you get this one to go.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
All right.
Wait till you guys see the pin on 10 today.
I like how we've said that maybe 3 or 4 times today. It's wait till we see it on 6. Wait till you see it on 10. And some others.
Can it possibly be as filthy as the one at 6?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. These guys are coming in with mid irons to the 1 and 10.
Oh my gosh. I'm just seeing it on the sheet now.
I'll tell you what, for the media tomorrow that get to play this place, that's going to be something else.
Have fun.
Have fun indeed. The one good thing, you won't lose a ton of golf balls here. Maybe in the rough, but only a few water hazards on property.
I think it would be nice of the crew to chop some of this rough down tonight.
I don't know. I feel like they probably need a break, Carl. Let them sleep in for a day.
That's a good point.
The media can suffer.
You guys were all writing that this thing was going to be out 20 under, huh? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, back down the hill here for Thomas. Gonna slide from his right to left. This would be one heck of an up and in.
Come on.
Oh.
Yes, sir. That was crafty.
Incredible up and down. You can see it on his face. He is working hard out there today.
And there are some numbers to be had. After looking at this, I think at least 7 under is going to be the number, if not 8. Unless this wind starts really howling in the back 9.
By the way,
I agree with you, Peter. It's definitely not blowing as near as hard as the previous days. somebody, I mean, there's so many guys around that 3 and 4 number. You got to think, and big names too. One of them is going to go out and have themselves a day and get to 7 or 8, I think.
Well, no name bigger than Scotty Scheffler. He has just stuffed it at the 3rd.
Another edge burned for Potgieter. So they will head to the 9th. Picture perfect day, starting to warm up, and so is the leaderboard. Final round coverage of the 108th PGA Championship at Aronimink.
Welcome back. Feature hole coverage, feature group coverage. We have got a shootout for you today. Alex Smalley with a 2-shot lead. Teeing off a little bit later today. Our group has reached the par 5 9th.
Bombs away here at the 9th today. Wind right at the player's back. Big old runway out there.
He didn't leave anything in the tank on that one. Beautiful shot. Now this one's going to be fun to watch right here, Matt.
Let's see if he gives it a ride and sends it up in the jet stream. That bunker down the right, I gotta think if he gets this just up in the air, guys, that bunker down the right's not even in play. Should be flying something past it.
I just want to see him come out of his shoes here.
Win. JT. Win. JT. Sit down.
Oh, flew right in it.
Oh my goodness.
You hear him say, "Oh my goodness."
Just a little late when he's going after it with everything he's got.
Talk about Scotty did not make that putt on the 3rd, so he'll remain over at 2 under. JT in red numbers. Can he find something special here on 9? Check it out when we return here to the PGA Championship. Continue to roll on. As you see, that's where the pin placement is on number 9. That wind's starting to freshen up a little bit, Matt, as we take a look back at where the players are over on that fairway. A little bit more of an elevated green, as we've seen 5 eagles so far today, playing the easiest of the golf course.
Well, it's definitely freshening up out here. Pin cut on the front right today. I want to catch my breath while I walk up this hill, guys.
Well, you do that, and we'll catch up with JT, who yesterday over on the left-hand side.
Fine.
Rough, just crushing that fairway wood.
Yeah, trying to push it with that fairway wood.
And trying to get it out of that rough. Not an easy task for any of the players so far this week. You see that pin was tucked back. It had a couple early birdies in that round, but would make a bogey there. He had 4 bogeys in a row in that stretch. 7, 8, 9, and 10. But he has been battling all championship long.
Yeah, you get on that bogey train, sometimes it's hard to get off.
That was something Alex Smalley had right for the bat, right?
Yeah.
3 of his first 4 holes, and he goes, okay, what happens? Well, he's 2 strokes clear of the field right now. As you see, there's a couple of yellow ones right there. There's some of the eagles we've seen. Quite a lot of birdies. Looks like a little.
This has got to be the 5 wood, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Try to take a listen to Matt Minister and JT.
It's definitely the smaller head cover.
.259 back up the hill here for JT. Wind quartering down off his right. Pretty steep climb, about 10 yards. You definitely need to land something short here and chase it up. Anything landed on the surface will more than likely make its way back to the primary cut.
He's staring. Oh my goodness.
In the world.
What a great shot, but B, that's the second time he's had quite an interesting bounce.
He couldn't have landed it in a better spot, guys. Right into the steepest part of the upslope.
Took away some of that speed, right, Matt?
Big time. 10 out of 10.
Great shot
right there.
That thing just kicked dead to the left.
Now that looks like a take your medicine wedge. I mean, he's strong, but he's not that strong. That's like Magnus for Magnuson, strongest man.
He's pretty strong. He's pretty strong.
That didn't look like a wedge to me.
He's got like 235.
Yeah, that was a long iron. That's going back in the bag.
Well, it's tough to tell from up here, guys, but if he does have ideas of going for it, 235 all the way there.
Now he went back to the middle of his bag. That looks to be like a 6 or 7 iron.
I don't know, man. He gave that things all the way up near the front.
Just absolutely. Just a strength from that young man. It's going to be fun to watch as he finds a way to harness that power. Just 21 years old. Once he gets that thing dialed in. You can visit the official PGA Championship shop. Shop.pga.com. They'll do $1 or $2 in merch this week. You see the
got some of my money.
Rightfully so. They had a little bit of everything in that merch shop. And they sure have enough fans to support it today. I mean, this place is jam-packed. And Matt, you said you've done a lot of these events. I'm not sure he's ever seen crowds like this. Even just yesterday were incredible. Much less Championship Sunday with the leaderboard that's jam-packed with so many different names. I've always gone back and forth. Like, I enjoy going to watch golf, see some of the best of the best. But there's going to be so much to see. You have to keep your head on a swivel today.
Put me in the lazy boy. It's got quite a trek up this 9th hole.
White.
Now let's keep his mic open and see if Matt can, how good a shape that athlete is in as we see the aerial view.
I mean, is the aerial view doing this place justice, guys? It really does look like a painting out here.
It's pretty cool. The aerial is pretty cool.
You know, ripping out these trees, if it did one thing, it opened up this landscape here, and you can see pretty much the whole golf course from you know, the sides.
Yeah. Again, that's what's made it. I can't wait for the back nine, because the roars of this crowd will probably feel a little bit Augusta-esque, as you were saying earlier, as things are happening. You start seeing.
Everything's just close here. Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to hear the roars all over the golf course. Harris English off to a good start with birdies at 2 and 3. He's 3 under par.
Fitzpatrick 4 under in his round. Alex Nort 4 under. Flying it all the way back here, you think, Matt, or just kind of a little bump and run?
We're going bump and run with those practice swings, and I think you have to. Back downwind to an elevated surface, front pin. It's just, you're bringing a ton of risk in and opening that blade. He's got to just pick out a spot here in this upslope and hope you guess right.
Awfully good guess.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Please, please, just go in the hole.
Oh my gosh.
That hit the pin and then lipped out going forward.
What a shot from Potgieter. Again, you hear the fans going, wow. Let's take one more look at this, guys.
I just don't understand this.
Surrender Cobra.
And then
with the praise.
Please, Lord.
But it is a tap-in birdie. Thought we had an eagle on our hands, and now Justin Thomas an opportunity to do that.
How about this? How about how bunched this board is? Right now, he is tied for 28th. If this one goes down, he moves to T7. and you know, pretty flat overall. It looks like it's going back down, but then it also goes back up late. So it's not one that's really going to get away from you. And there's some gradual movement from left to right, but it's enough to know what it's going to do. I don't think there's any guesswork here. Wouldn't shock me one bit if this one scares it.
Let's get this crowd fired up.
Let's get to 3.
Break. Oh, man, that thing just Velcroed.
Saw that earlier, first couple of holes. I was surprised. JT is one of those players that I thought really would, if there's going to be an eagle putt and give him an opportunity to get after it, he would do it. So JT with the birdie. Carl, what'd you think?
Good opening 9 there for JT.
So a birdie for JT. Potgieter, a birdie as well, as they will stroll on quickly to the 10th. We got a championship Sunday ahead of us. My goodness, this is a jam-packed leaderboard. Looking forward to a day here at Aronimink, one that will live in the ages.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 108th PGA Championship. This is the 12:55 starting time. Now on the tee, please welcome from Australia, Min Woo Lee.
Halfway home in the final round for our first featured group out today. Nice front 9 from Justin Thomas coming off the birdie at the 9th. And so many opportunities. Will Haskett, Colin Swatton stepping in. Steve Scott going to be on the golf course coming up a little bit later on, as we'll eventually transition to the first tee with Aaron Rye and Ludwig Oberg off in the third to last group today. We've seen good scoring today. Colin, maybe not the same level of scoring as we saw on Saturday, but already a 63 from Kurt Kitayama. Not the same level of breezes later this afternoon, but pressure versus those that have faced pressure before. Could be an interesting dynamic as we start to get these final groups on the golf course.
Yeah, you're right. There's a couple of pin locations that are a little bit more difficult to get to, but they've been a good spread. There's some gettable ones out there, especially early, but then, you know, there's some difficult ones as well that's going to help slow up scoring. A little bit of breeze, too, still out of that southwest. And like you said, the pressure of trying to play and trying to win a major championship.
Well, we got some crowd control issues here at 10 to try and make the turn. Again, the 10th tee shares the same box as the first tee, and it is a big scene out here as Justin Thomas will have a few extra seconds.
It felt like way more southwest. I mean, that was obviously then and this is now. Hmm? That was obviously then and yeah, obviously now, but it's less there.
Well, Justin Thomas just trying to get a little bit of a beat on the breeze, and I would agree with his comments too. Definitely a lot stronger yesterday. Is this fairway miles left? Difficult fairway to hit. Does tilt and camber quite severely from right to left. 2 bunkers down to right. Also, too, you can get blocked by those trees, and that's the reason he's trying to aim a little bit more towards that left center of the fairway.
Yeah, JT! Love you, JT!
Now 5 of 8 hitting fairways in this final round for JT. As long as that one holds in, even if it runs up against the bumper, he's going to feel as if that was a good swing. 2 under in the front 9, 2 under for the week. Justin Thomas arrived here with one mission this week, and that was to win a 3rd Wanamaker trophy. Is there a number that he could aspire realistically to try and get to on this back nine to sit around and wait a while?
Yeah, I would think he'd need to get to at least 6 or 7 before he's changing any sort of flights.
No surprise, that's the longest hitter of the week. Is that going to hang in there for Potgieter? Did not get the bounce. That's going to be on the downslope in a heavy lie for the young South African. Just trying to put together 9 more good holes this week. 1 of the 156 to start the week gets that as a prize this evening. We will have every shot coming up in our feature group coverage of that man, 31-year-old Aaron Rai, in just his 13th major start. Has never finished better than T19 in a major championship. I can promise you one thing, he is prepared in his mind and in his game plan. The question will be today, can he execute? That's the question that all these golfers want to ask themselves. They want to be in a position to test themselves. What is it like? You've been in these moments, you've walked in final groups in major championships. Colin Swatton, what is the mindset preparation like for an Aaron Rai, for a leader like Alex Smalley? A lot of players on that leaderboard that have really never experienced a day like today so far in their careers.
Yeah, they're going to be leaning on not only their coaches, but their caddies and their statisticians within the team. They would have gone through all of the pin locations last night, sat down as a team, looked at which holes have played a little bit easier. There's some similar pin locations today that we saw in round 1. Yeah. So there's some familiarity there, and they can dig back in and look at which holes have played just a little bit easier, what are the opportunities. But it's uncharted ground for Alex Smalley, and definitely for Aaron Rai. Matt Schmidt also. John Rahm with the firepower at 4.
It's such a fascinating mix, isn't it? You've got some of the more prodigious major winners all inside the top 10 or top 15, right? 6-time major winner in Rory McIlroy. Xander Schauffele won 2 majors just 2 years ago. Patrick Reed, John Rahm have won major championships. But the final group today have 2 guys that haven't won at the highest levels of professional golf. Not in the DP World Tour, not on the PGA Tour. Have not won, let alone a major, a tournament at the highest levels of professional golf.
Yeah, let's not forget that objects in the rear view mirror always appear larger. Now, I think, you know, for these guys, McIlroy, Schauffele, I should say, Patrick Reed, you know, if those guys can get out early, make some noise. This is Sunday of a PGA Championship. The crowds have been thick all week. That's going to put a little bit of pressure. And we saw what happened in the early going yesterday with Alex Smalley on the first, 5 or 6 holes. It's so difficult. And then you go and put the moment, what it means to him, what it will mean to his family. It's a lot of pressure.
All right, Potgieter second now here at 10.
Back right pin location, extremely difficult to get it close. And that lie even for the power and speed of Potgieter, unable to get it to the front of the green. You can see it there perched all the way in the back portion of the green. It's been difficult to get to. Only 3 birdies have been made all day. And now Thomas, we've called it the half and half lie all week. Well, it's an extremely difficult cut of, or first cut of rough, if you could call it that. It's only 18 inches wide. And this is what happens. The ball sits halfway down. And now it's like, is it going to jump? Is it going to come out heavy? Is it going to come out normal?
Potgieter now, by the way, has missed half of his greens today. You call it the first cut week in and week out in professional golf. Some weeks it's effectively like being in the fairway on a tiny tee. This week it is like being in the rough, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. And it's, you can see here, like, Thomas is a very extremely seasoned professional. Played all over the world. You know, and this is a tricky lie, especially with a back pin location. This thing is not very wide in this back right portion. It's only about 5 paces wide where this pin's located. So anything left will get repelled left. Anything right will get repelled down into that little trough or valley, if you want to refer to it that. You can see well down on the club here. Oh boy.
Not that miss. That is extremely steep. There is a tiny flat spot at the bottom, but the way that that ball ricocheted off the wall, I would imagine that that ball is wet. And what a mistake for Justin Thomas, who was doing a good job of minimizing big mistakes in this final round. A disgusted walk down the fairway here at 10.
Yeah, they were obviously playing for some kind of flyer, didn't get it. And with water short of this green here at 10, you've got to make sure to take that out. Usually a flyer, when it hits on the green, it bounces about 15 paces, something like that. So you could easily do that math with that pin all the way in the back, 28 paces on. That is a huge miscue.
JT is a 2-time major champion. We talked about the experience that it takes sometimes to win majors, putting yourself in those positions. And there's that interesting dynamic that we talked about on the leaderboard of guys that have won majors. Harris English and Mikhail Lindberg have worked their way up this leaderboard thanks to nice starts on the front 9 to get into a tie for 7th. But there you see John Rahm kind of in that catbird seat right before the final duo of Alex Smalley and Matty Schmidt. And can Rory McIlroy string together 3 spectacular rounds of golf after the opening round of 74? And not too far behind. Look at all of that major championship experience when you're talking about players, some of whom haven't even teed off yet. Hideki Matsuyama, Justin Rose, and others who are just 4 off of the lead, 2 off of 2nd place if there were to be a slip up. That major championship experience looms large in a day like today.
Potgieter drove it right into the long rough on the downslope, forced to take a conservative leave here. Now a long pitch shot. Oh, I like what he's done here. He's played it as a bit of an old school chip and run. For a young guy, I like to see that. Get the ball on the green as quickly as you can, get it running like a putt, and there's the ball plot of Justin Thomas. What a great break that was. I'm sure he was thinking of just trying to get it in that valley right there in the middle of the green, then putt up to that pin, but huge miscue and dodges a bullet finding the penalty area.
Remember, they capped the rough Tuesday night into Wednesday at 3.5 inches, so it has had ample opportunity to grow over the last couple of days, and that growth may have saved Justin Thomas at least 1 shot to this yellow line penalty area.
Yeah, Tuesday when we were walking it there, we were trying to find a golf ball where we could sort of see whether or not that was going to come back, but poor break off the tee rolling into that first cut, and a bad break here coming up short. But on the upslope, pin up on the back shelf, he's got to get a little tumbler here. Nicely done there for Justin Thomas. He's so good around the greens. It's a highly underrated part of his game. Isn't it his best stuff necessarily when he has missed the green this week, but so good with a lofted club. And then you get that sort of 30, 40 yard pitch shot, and he hits those with just unbelievable cadence, spin control. It's a new look. Potgieter shed some pounds.
Yeah, I mean, we forget. It's very easy to forget when someone wins at the highest levels of professional golf and has traits that are extreme. I mean, he's the longest player in the game right now and is a winner on the PGA Tour, and he's still only 21 years old. So when you say, oh, look, he's got, well, of course. His body is not yet developing into what his body is going to be, and he's doing all of that while trying to compete against some elite players double his age.
Yeah, I was talking to his trainer at Harbour Town at the signature event there in Hilton Head, and he said he actually came to them and said, I want to improve my body. I want to start to look and feel like I should. And he said he wanted to do it more from a psychological standpoint as well as from a health perspective. And yeah, it's already dangerous. Like, you know, you start to add strength, speed, power to already a very, very good golf swing that is certainly the longest on tour. It's going to be, look out, guys.
What a par save that is. A little luck involved as well, but it's a 4 nonetheless, and Thomas keeps momentum going with a par here at 10 and might be able to hunt a few birdies in the next few holes as well to continue this climb up the leaderboard. I laugh talking about Potgieter wanting to sort of sculpt that body and lose a little bit of that, you know, affectionately call it baby fat that he's been trying to do. I remember when Justin Thomas first got on tour, talking to him and him lamenting he couldn't put weight on to save. I mean, didn't matter what he did, what he was eating, he just could not put weight on. We're all built a little bit differently.
Well, considering what we just pushed in our mouth in the lunchroom, I'd love to have that problem. Oh boy, they are two very good par saves for Potgieter and Justin Thomas.
Survived the 10th. Can you attack the 11th?
Well, first things first, you got to get it between the sea of bunkers. In fact, there's 20 of them on this 11th hole, the most of any hole on the golf course. Once you find the fairway, though, it is not over. This second shot here plays some uphill, 9 yards, and this front right pin location is fraught with danger. You can see the sea of arrows there, short and to the right, is the reason we have only seen 3 birdies so far today. 6 bogeys, a couple of others, adds up to a stroke average and over par. 7th toughest hole. Like so many of the hole locations today, as we've seen through the week, you have to cherry pick your moments. Some of these pins you've got to respect, and that's the reason you'll see these players, some even with a scoring wedge, play 10, 15 yards left of the hole.
Been interesting here today at 11. We talk about how protected that front right hole location is, players that have to be wary of spinning the ball off the green. There's actually been a lot of really good approach shots in here today at 11, just no one's able to make a putt. Lots of missed putts in the, I'd say, 10 to 15 foot range.
The other, not really.
See that? The flag's just off to the left of the camera screen. There's still just enough breeze out here, 10 to 15 miles an hour. Supposed to be throughout the day. That's enough to keep your attention. Less than driver here. Ooh, this could be a good save. Look at that finish there, folks. Trying to hold that face open. Oh, well done, Justin.
Well, Arnie finished there from JT to make sure that that ball didn't flip left.
It's amazing how good these guys are. They can feel and sense when their club is just a little bit closed, and they can make that pivot and adjustment, even swinging in excess of 115 miles an hour. Check this out, just an iron. He used an iron off the first tee today.
.157 ball speed with a little smoothie long iron.
I like that second little number there too, just 11 feet of curve. Some people can't point that straight. That is amazing.
Folks, I encourage you, go to your local club, take your driver, see if you can get to 157 ball speed with your driver. Potgieter out here making us feel mortal.
There are so many players within the top of the leaderboard.
Everybody is bunched.
McIlroy, quite an impressive third round.
Alex Smalley.
Such an impressive fight back.
Kurt Kitayama, best round on the golf course early on.
This is a different type of stage.
What a day it's going to be.
ESPN and the PGA of America welcome you to this final round of the 108th PGA Championship from Aronimink Golf Club, just outside of Philadelphia, just inside an hour from Aaron Rai and Ludwig Oberg hitting the tee at the first. There'll be our afternoon feature group. You will not miss a single second or a single shot of those two, each seeking their first major championship. Oberg has been in position multiple times in his young professional career. Entering Sunday, hasn't had a lot of success in final rounds, but a lot will be determined by what happens from the leader, who will be 20 minutes after our feature group. Alex Smalley out with Matty Schmid today. 30 players, a PGA Championship record, were within 5 shots of the lead entering this final round at the beginning of the day. It's the third most players within 5 shots of the lead entering a major final round in any major ever. I have no idea what's going to happen later on this afternoon, as we're back out with our first feature group today, and Aldrich Potgieter going to be first to play into the green here at 11. Colin Swatton.
You can see there Thomas, 3-wood, Drive with 325 yards, just 91. Potgieter 9 off the tee, 275, 139. Does play uphill almost 10 yards. In this pin location, 13 paces on, 4 off the right. Very similar. Whole location to round 2 that yielded 9 birdies. We've seen here just 3 today. Oh, good smart shot just left of the flagstick. But that is going to leave a huge curler. Will Haskett, you said it earlier. There's a lot of good approaches here today, but difficult to make them because even if you get it pin high, you're going to be left with a putt with some 2 or 3 feet of break. Thomas is elected to go down the left side here, and that creates a better angle. It really just calls for a nice wedge shot left of the pin with a little bit of spin on it. The natural camber of this green will actually push it a touch closer. Watch the cadence and flow of this wedge shot here. Nothing rushed. And that's how you control the spin.
He likes it. Put the brakes on now. Beauty. JT's got it dialed today, especially after the somewhat rocky start. And as soon as he made contact, he knew he hit his number.
Yeah, that's a lesson in how to control the speed, the trajectory, and the spin control. More importantly, so much of this week coming in here was not necessarily about point and shoot. It was about calculations, the uphill, the downhill, the wind, but more importantly, the greens. What's the ball going to do when it lands on the greens? Some are going to land on the downslope, want to kick forward. Some are going to pitch into the uphill slope and want to stop and check quicker. It's been a great week, and I know Rory was a little bullish on the setup early, you know, and after Friday's round, saying, you know, he would have liked to have seen a course with a little bit more separation at the top, but I like it the way it is.
We love it.
Yeah,
I think the players like to have a little bit of separation because it takes a lot of variables out of what could happen in a championship. But from an entertainment standpoint, how can you not be entertained by all of the various human stories and levels of success of golf that we find at the top of this leaderboard as these two players survey? I'm curious your thoughts. Aldrich Potgieter, 21 years old, and the longest player on the PGA Tour, one of the longest players in golf. He's not the first young player to come out and have prodigious length of the last 25, 30 years. And like I think many that have come before him, one that really comes to mind is Dustin Johnson. Still had to sort of figure out the finesse part of the game, the wedge side, that shot that he just played in there of being able to control spin and trajectory and line. How does somebody with so much power learn to then hit the feel shots that, say, a player like Justin Thomas is so gifted at?
Yeah, well, so much of what lies ahead for him is actually starting to mature as a player and a professional. Like, it's one thing to have all the speed in the world, and I followed him in Mexico. You know, I think he was the only player to get it home on that par 5. It's like for the entire week. So he has plenty of power to burn, but also, too, he has to learn and mature as a golfer, see where his strengths are, but also, too, more importantly, where his weaknesses lie. And then he can become a more well-rounded and balanced player. And that's what you need to do to become sort of world-class.
Big, wide stance with the putter for Potgieter, trying to get back to even bar. Did everything but break to the right there at the end. And he'll settle for a 4. Burst on the scene, was still a teenager when he won the amateur. That got him into several major championships at the ripe young age of 18 years old. But this just his 6th major championship start and just his 2nd cut made as his education as a professional golfer continues. And now JT to pay off the best shot so far today here at 11. He's already written his name on the placard and hoping it holds up for some shop credit at the end of the outing today. That kid wants to pay this off, and again, this goes down. You're to 3 under par. You're just 3 off of the lead with a chance to maybe post a number here on the back 9.
Yeah, there's some very gettable holes. The 13th is up at 299, 14, 16, even 17. Still a chance. Just a touch now from his right to left.
Well, just a touch of break is right, because he gave that ramming speed pace. But 4 birdies since his last bogey. He's got a nice little cadence going. Par birdie, par birdie, par birdie, par birdie. Let's string some birdies together, shall we, as we head over to 12.
Yeah, playing 469 yards today. You can see the bunkers up the right-hand side. They won't be the issue. Trying to squeeze something in between the first cluster of bunkers and the second cluster of bunkers. If you can manage to do that, it's an uphill second shot. You can see there the variation of pin locations today. We've used 2 in round 1. It was up on that top left shelf. That was an extremely tricky pin. You can see by those red arrows just to the left of it. Now today, round 4, all the way in the back portion. Now, this little tier up here, it also too just has a little fall off just beyond the flagstick there. That's what's going to make it tricky. 4 birdies here today. You can see stroke average over at 4.33. Difficult to get it up on top of that shelf, especially the right distance. Extremely hot day today. You can see Thomas just using the towel. We started the week. We saw beanies, hand warmers, jackets, hoodies, everything. Temperatures not getting much above the 50-degree mark, and when we came on air, Will, it was well in the high 80s. Extremely warm day.
This was the 3rd hardest green to hit in yesterday's 3rd round. It is the 4th hardest green to hit today in this final round. So playing from a position of strength in the fairway is paramount right now as JT and Matt Minister trying to figure out the path.
Yeah, the shot you were calling for is just, just right where we were yesterday. It's right where we were.
I've stretched it out today at 469 yards. It's actually the longest yardage it's played all week, and with that wind off the right, just shrinks this fairway just a whisker from its 40 yards down there in the landing area. Thomas went to the shot a lot yesterday, trying to fade it back against the breeze. Looks like the first part of the equation could be done here at the difficult 12th.
Just looks a little tighter and sharper today with the swing than yesterday for JT. And the driving iron again for Potgieter.
Power to burn.
Come on, Win.
260 over those traps.
It's fine now. 172 ball speed with the driving iron. It's just filthy from Potgieter. We'll see if he can muster up a similar strike for his second shot here in the back 9 at Aronimink.
Gloves initially was to keep my hands warm in the winter months in England, and then it just continued to become a habit, and I've stuck with it ever since. Regarding the iron covers, my mom and dad worked extremely hard to support me, and my dad used to buy me the best equipment that he could, and he brought me a really nice set of irons, which he paid a lot of money for. And after every practice session, we used to come home and he used to clean each groove with baby oil and a pin to get all the dirt and grime out. And then he started to put iron covers onto those soon after, just to look after them and take care of them. So the reason that I do it now is to just remember what I came from and also to respect. The two gloves initially was to keep my hands warm in the winter months in England, and then it just continued to become a habit, and I've stuck with it ever since. Regarding the iron covers, my mom and dad worked extremely hard to support me. My dad used to buy me the best equipment that he could, and he brought me a really nice set of irons, which he paid a lot of money for. And after every practice session, we used to come home and he used to clean each groove with baby oil and a pin to get all the dirt and grime out. And then he started to put iron covers onto those soon after, just to look after them and take care of them. So the reason that I do it now is to just remember what I came from and also to respect the things that I have.
World's going to learn a lot about Aaron Rai today, especially if he plays well. And if you stick with us, you'll hear a lot more insight into the game, the mind of Aaron Rai, teeing off at 2:15 Eastern alongside Ludwig Oberg. How proud his parents must be. What a wonderful story and tribute to the sacrifices to allow him to grow up and be one of the best golfers in the world as he and Oberg begin their warm-ups. As somebody who only made a living as a youth cleaning clubs in the back of a country club bag room, iron covers were my mortal enemy. But I tip the cap. It's just a great story. I mean, I've heard that story several times, a couple times from Aaron himself, and it's just so lovely to hear that tribute. And you know what? It's hot today. You could say trying to win a major, your palms could get a little bit sweaty. Two gloves could be an advantage today for Aaron Rai.
It certainly could be. He is one of the nicest guys. I've been around him a lot. Works extremely diligently. I wouldn't say use the term hard worker, but he's very diligent, very deliberate about the way he goes about everything. Potgieter after iron here at the 12th, just 188 to that back left pin location. Could be between clubs here. You can see gripping down a little.
Made the right choice.
Ooh, it gets it to stay on that top shelf. Very impressive.
All right, mild little heat check moment for Justin Thomas. You've gotten yourself in the top 10. You're 3 under today, 3 under for the tournament. You've got a drivable par 4 coming up. You're coming off birdie at 11. How conservative do you want to play versus how aggressive you feel like you need to play on this shot?
I think that's going to be the struggle coming to the house. You know, Justin Thomas, I wouldn't say he's the most conservative golf professional out there in this field. He's aggressive by nature. Sometimes that can almost become his Achilles heel in some cases. He's got a great man on the bag there, Matt Minister, extremely seasoned caddy. They work great as a team. Sometimes as a caddy, you're a little bit like a jockey. You know, you've got to know when to use the whip, and sometimes you've got to know when just to let the racehorse run. He's got 158 yards. Does play uphill some 5, so let's call that low 60s. Might say this might be an 8 iron here. Just a nice smooth swing, take some of the spin off it. Two fine shots, Will.
Really good. That is not a fair representation of how difficult this hole is played today. In fact, those are going to be kind of the top 5-6 approach shots each into the green here today at 12. So a wonderful opportunity for Justin Thomas to perhaps get into that tie for second and just 2 off the lead if he can make that for birdie. And this is what this day sort of presented as an opportunity when you had those 30 players 5 back or better to begin this round. Justin Thomas was not within that group, but a few birdies, you get to 3 under par, you've leapt over 20 some odd people on the leaderboard in a very quick amount of time.
Before we went off air last night, you said look for a player to be within a couple of hours of our leaders going off to make some noise. Is Justin Thomas going to be that guy that's going to make that noise? He certainly is shaping up with 4 birdies against that lone bogey back at the 3rd. Like you say, he's tapping on the door right now. It's just a matter of how prepared is he to try and knock it down, and what will he do, and how much is going to be enough.
Again, so much of what happens later today will depend on Alex Smalley. If he can have a better start on the front 9, which has really been his bugaboo the last 2 days. He turned to the front on Friday, leading the golf tournament, and proceeded to make 3 consecutive bogeys. Yesterday, starting in that final group, bogeyed 3 of his first 4 holes before he found a way to sort of rally. If he has a similar start in the front today and then immediately backs up to the rest of the field, then it's a full-on 20-horse race all the way around Aronimink. But if he reverses trend, he can really dictate the tempo, or should I say the approach, that a lot of those in pursuit have to do when it gets to nitty-gritty time on the back 9.
And let's not forget too, the scoring average for the field the first couple of days well over par. In fact, a couple, over 2.5 shots more difficult than par. But yesterday we saw a more gentle and more gettable Aronimink, and the scoring average was right at 70 par of the golf course. So I think with a mix of pin locations today, we're going to see it maybe at the end of the day finish maybe 70.5, maybe 71, something like that. So someone can break from the pack. We saw a lot of good yesterday too with Justin Thomas. He didn't have his best stuff, but he hung in there. Like you said, you made the great observation 2 or 3 holes ago. He just looks a little bit more aware of the moment, a little bit more in control of his golf swing as well.
He'll be first to putt for birdie here at the 12th. Putter yesterday was just okay after a great putting start on Thursday. It has been very good today, just 17 putts in his first 11 holes for JT. And if this one goes in with the drivable par 4 coming up, all of a sudden even those on the range might take notice when they see on the leaderboard that JT could be on his way to posting a good number in the house.
Low point on this green is over there where Potgieter is standing, so should go a touch to his right, especially as it loses a little bit of speed.
Just didn't see that much pull.
Yeah, there's a little fall off just beyond this flagstick today. It's going to fool a lot of players. You think, oh, okay, it's going to stay maybe a touch straighter, and you can see him saying, yeah, I see it now.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but if that trend holds, we got a birdie coming up on the next hole in this birdie bogey back and forth, or should say birdie par back and forth for Thomas. Potgieter with the crack at a rare birdie here at 12.
Putting from the opposite direction. We've got a pretty good feel for it from what he saw from Thomas. Boy, that was a good looking stroke. He'll go ahead and tap that in, but he'll feel like there was an opportunity on begging there at 11 and at 12. good approach shots.
I really thought we'd get at least one birdie out of that duo. But I would imagine we will certainly see a birdie coming up on the next hole from this twosome. As Ludwig Oberg is on property. 66 on Friday, got him right back into this golf tournament. That was one of the better rounds of the first 2 days. Had just a couple of rounds of 66. Oberg having that one on Friday, 68 yesterday, as he will be now for the 4th time inside the top 5 of a major championship heading into the final round. Almost won a major in his very first major start. That was at the Masters in 2024. Maybe his best chance to better that one. All right, 13 tees up again today, Colin.
Yeah, they said they were going to play it up. They played it up in the round 3, and they have played it up again here in round 4. 299, it was 292 yesterday. You can see round 3, they had the pin all the way in the back portion today. It is all the way in the back. Extremely tricky green complex. You can see the arrows. Everything's pushing the golf ball that will find the surface here today off the green and to the right-hand side. You're going to see everything here. You're going to see hybrids, rescues, 3 woods, 5 woods, and irons.
Saw a couple of eagles here yesterday. Players able to sort of hold that position where that hole was cut. What does this particular flag present in any sort of more difficulty for the players today that maybe are trying to make an eagle as opposed to a birdie?
I don't think if you see an eagle today here, and we haven't seen one to this point today, you're going to see it as a chip in. I don't think anybody in the field can hold this green today and give themselves what I would class as a reasonable eagle putt. It's going to either be a long range eagle putt or it's going to be a chip in, like I say. So much tilt and camber in this green here at 13. And I think with the breeze into from the right, you can see there, it's just helping push the balls further and further to the right. I kind of like where this sits too as a drivable par 4. You know, you've had 3 decent opportunities at 10, 11, and 12, and then you've got a drivable par 3 here, and then difficult par 4. Just playing a little up today. A bit difficult par 3 that's playing up a little bit today, and then a very challenging long par 4 before the reprieve at the par 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. If the wind was on, it was in on the right. I mean, that's not what any consideration pretty short. I mean, I was thinking that, but I also feel like, I think strong, like trying to kill the fire. Trying to be strong off of their team. Yeah, it's in the front one. That. Very well done. Fantastic.
What'd you learn there?
Yeah, you could hear Thomas talking about if the wind was off the right, it'd be such an easier decision. But with the wind off the left, trying to flight something on there is extremely difficult. And also, too, the front number is 264 yards. It's into the breeze. You saw there with the wind chill another 5 to 7 miles an hour. That's going to put it at that uncomfortable distance where guys are going to have to start really leaning on a 3-wood to carry it onto the green. So, to me, I think what he's trying to do here is just come up a little short, maybe short and right, and if he happens to pull it a little bit and get in the bunker, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
found the greenside bunkers, and it has. Right side of that long front greenside bunker, which is kind of what he was resigned to having if he didn't land it right in the neck. We're wearing out the long irons off the tee for Potgieter today.
Yeah, we certainly are. Don't forget, too, that out of bounds juts in very, very quickly up there by the green. That's one reason I think you'll see a lot of guys up that right-hand side. This has promise.
Ah, yes. Trickles onto that front edge. That'll feed down to the low area in the middle of this green. Not going to be very close, but yes, applause from the gallery behind. So he's going to have an eagle putt from distance. That long iron, 299 to that back hole location, and is able to chase it nearly 300 yards up into the heart of this green for the young South African. PGA Junior League is bringing friends, families, and communities together through golf, all with expert PGA and LPGA coaching. Find a team near you at PGAJuniorLeague.com. A couple of maybe Junior League teammates right there. Hey, boys. Still a little early for that little beauty to make her PGA Junior League debut. Oh no, she's so frustrated about it. She wants a jersey. She wants a visor. It's okay. We'll get you in the program in a couple of years' time. Can't wait. My 10-year-old daughter, we're ready to go. We're fired up for Junior League season this summer, Call. We're ready to go. And for those of you that aren't aware of the program, it's a scramble. You play little 3-person, sometimes 4-person if you have an overworked staff and a lot of juniors. And you play a scramble within a time limit of time at your local club. If you're a little bit older and more competitive and show a little bit of promise, you can play matches outside of that, and eventually there's a national championship that you can watch later on this fall for PGA Junior League. But just a nice, fun, friendly way to introduce young folks to the game of golf.
Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of pressure when you have to go out there and post a score individually.
Yeah.
Playing as a team, great initiative. I like that.
Justin Thomas would have been captain of his PGA Junior League team had it existed some 20 years ago at his home club, where his father, Mike, was the head golf professional, 3rd generation PGA professional for Justin Thomas. You know, it was an interesting conversation, Colin, wasn't it, between JT and Matt Minister back on the tee. You're looking, you need to make as many birdies as possible. You're trying to post a number, and yet this golf course just doesn't really allow you to get so comfortable to just swing away. You have to be strategic. How hard is that for a pro to sit there on the tee and say, look, I need to squeeze every drop of juice I possibly can out of this round of golf if I'm going to have any outside chance of winning, but I just kind of have to be resigned to hitting this little 5-wood down there when you probably didn't want to at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's one of these situations that, unfortunately, we have this impression that the closer we are to the green, the better your chance of making birdie is. And the data proves that. You know, there's different, guys out there that have actually sort of supported that motion or that notion. But also, too, is you have to play to your strengths. Like Justin Thomas now has an extremely, long and challenging bunker shot to this pin location all the way in the back portion of the green. He's got to come up a very steep tier to get back there. If he comes up a little short, it'll come all the way back down into the valley there, and he'll have some 30, 35 feet. So this is where it becomes the challenge to say, hey, well, let's just paddle an iron up just short of that bunker and use a strength of your game to try and get up and down. And sometimes in the heat of the battle, it's hard to be able to sort of get your player to sort of see that approach.
8th player in this greenside bunker off the tee today at 13. Only one has gotten it up and down for birdie.
Stay. I don't know if that's going to stay, Will.
Just catches a little dimple for a second, and now gravity wins the war.
Yeah, and that to my point, if we said, Thomas, you're 20 yards short of that bunker, what's the chances of you getting up and down? He would have said better than most. From that bunker, it's a difficult bunker shot. Like, to your point, only one guy has got it up and down. Hindsight's everything. We can all be Captain Hindsight, but that's the moments in a championship Sunday where the player and the caddy have to make the right choice, not the choice that seems the most obvious.
Now can Potgieter navigate this down in 2 for a birdie?
This is going to be over 80 feet. The low point, the valley, is right where you can see that little darker spot, right about there. Now it's starting its climb all the way back to this pin. Oh, and that's like the little engine that couldn't quite get it there. That's the challenge here at the dry ball par 4 today. Pin location is everything today. Yesterday, not so much. Yesterday we saw this hole at 292 yards. It's only 7 yards longer. Gave up a couple of eagles, 36 birdies. But because of this pin location, a little bit more tucked today. No eagles and only 11 birdies. I know it's still early going, but this is an important stretch of holes here. 13, 14. Hasn't had a lot of success at the 14th. Played it a couple over in his first 3 trips around there. Shouldn't be too much break either way in this one. Putting straight back up the fall line. Just got to get it there. Give himself a chance.
Got the resignation of being stuck between a couple of clubs off the tee, and now the resignation of understanding that there just wasn't a comfortable path to make an easy birdie there for Thomas, and that feels like a hole that if you're going to post a number, you have to take advantage of. And now the mountain a little bit steeper for JT, the remaining 5 holes.
I think the more planning that you can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, and it's difficult here at this golf course. What is it? It hasn't been here for 62 years or something like that. It's not like it's a regular rotation where you know where these pins are going to be year in, year out, and you can start doing your planning. But there's nothing worse. You drive the green on a drivable par 4 and you 3-putt. Becomes frustrating.
So Potgieter going to stay at +1. This, by the way, was his PGA Championship debut this week for Potgieter, and barring a poor finish, will be his best finish in a major in just his 6th major start. It certainly doesn't get any easier now as we head over to 14.
Yeah, 206 yards today. Thank goodness it did play at 220 yards in round 1. Played as the 3rd most difficult hole. It's played as the 5th most difficult hole all week, and so much of it is driven by this green complex. Where we walked it on Tuesday, we were like, oh my goodness, look at the undulation, look at the movements. Where are they going to put these pin locations? And this is a similar pin location to where it was in round 1. It only yielded 6 birdies, and you can see today it hasn't been a birdie frenzy again. So difficult to get it within that average proximity of 33 feet 4 inches because of that shelf. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous series of par 3s here. Aronimink got the short 5th, and then you can really tip it out at the 8th.
Yeah. Orange shirt, great.
Thomas has had a couple of big left misses at 14 this week, including to a similar hole location back on Thursday. Only 2 players today have hit a tee shot here inside of 10 feet.
Extremely difficult pin location to get close to, and a lot of it is driven by the wind off the left there. You can see Thomas aiming well left towards the bunkers on the left side. It has to fade from there. And no surprise to see him hang this one out of touch.
Stay right there. And that's fine. We've seen a lot of players that have bailed right. They'll end up working even farther away to the right side of the green and did some 3 putts from down there. But that's pretty common safe spot there for Thomas here at 14.
Yeah, 14 is one hole that you just get to and you say, look, if I could chalk up 4 threes there for the week, I'd be gaining strokes on the field.
Okay, I'll just shake on the next ball. Okay.
Wonderful line. And a proper leave for Potgieter.
Yeah, he's playing good, smart golf, what I've seen since I come on the air. He's hitting the ball exactly where you need to hit it. Proximity is everything in a hot putter.
Can we heat him up with 5 holes to go in their PGA Championship weeks? Feature group coverage of this final round of the 108th PGA Championship. We're on the back nine with Justin Thomas and Aldrich Potgieter. Less than 20 minutes away from our next featured group, Aaron Rai and Ludwig Oberg, hearing their names announced on the first tee. Justin Thomas is part of a logjam tie for 9th right now. There are 9 players 3 under par, 3 shots back. There are 7 players right now tied for 2nd. Well, wild Sunday it's going to be. And these are 2 positions off the tee here at 14. If you're holding on to a lead later on this afternoon, you would accept either one of these tee shots right now.
100%. That is exactly where you need to hit it. We saw it in the flyover and the proximity, the average proximity. 2 professionals there, 34 feet 3 inches, and both of these guys inside that. That speaks to the quality of those 2 approach shots. 1 pin location, you cannot possibly take it on. Someone may be forced to do that. Someone may want to do that. If they're making a run and they're playing with a hot hand, it is going to be an exciting race to the end. So many different storylines, so many different players, first timers, seasoned major champions. And I think this golf course has been absolutely perfect. This week we've seen it in so many different conditions, cold conditions, blustery. And now today, winds sort of bounce around that 10-15 miles an hour again. West-northwest. Still enough to have your attention, 10 to 15 miles an hour. Similar putt to what Thomas had at the previous hole, coming straight back up the 4 line. Not much wiggle left or right. Oh, he wanted that so bad, Will. You're gonna wonder, you know, it was between shots at the 13th, the drivable 13th today, just playing 299 yards. Wasn't able to capitalize on it there. Maybe just trying to make or force things to happen a little.
A little more bank in this one to the right for Potgieter.
Yeah, just going around the clock face here. This one will have just a little more turn than the putt of Thomas. It's been close. Oh, that one's not his best, what we've seen in the last 4 or 5 holes. But like you say, first time here at the PGA Championship, making a fine go of it. He is going to be a talent to watch out for sure. With his length, he's going to pop up everywhere. Open Championship. You know, if he can take that 1 iron over the pond, boy, oh boy, he could do some damage. US Open, I think of those tight fairways as well.
Yeah, when he's on, his on weeks are incredible. See that in some of his amateur wins and even some of his professional wins. It's just turning that into week in, week out consistency is part of that journey for a young pro.
See that color change there on your screen. You can see that little bit of dark color just before the ball of Thomas. That's the fall off at the back of the green. He's going to have 1 foot in that. He's had the majority of the reed standing in that. This is where it gets just a little tricky. So much of this putt feels like it wants to go some direction, but yet it could stay a little straighter than you think. Nicely done. Good 2-putt in the end.
Talked so much about having the satisfaction of playing his way into contention this weekend, and man, just 1 or 2 decisions yesterday or 1 or 2 swings yesterday, and we'd be talking a lot differently about JT's position on this leaderboard. He has played probably for 54 holes, we'll say at the end of this week. For 54 holes, he played like a PGA champion again. It's just that Saturday didn't make the move that he was looking for. How about the moves already? 2 under through the first 6 holes for Hideki Matsuyama, 2 under through the first 4 holes for Cameron Smith, birdies at 1 and 2 for Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah, we said it before we came on air. We looked at the pin sheet. There was some really good opportunities in the first 3 to 4 holes, and we're seeing it already, like you say, with early movement.
And just 0 separation. We had a lot of conversations overnight and yesterday. How far back is too far back? You're seeing plenty of rounds today in the 60s, including the round of the week from Kurt Kitayama, who shot that 63. And that's really the big question mark about this all, Colin, is that when we think we're going to see separation, it's just stayed bunched the entire week. But you have so many potential candidates right now in the top 10 that could shoot 64 today and have a cushion walking up the 18th hole when it's all said and done.
It's going to be so cool watching this golf tournament just evolve, and the eventual winner hoisting the Wanamaker Trophy.
I was on the right, a touch of help. Yes, it is.
It's 15th hole, long par 4. It's playing actually the shortest it's played the entire week at 527 yards. It did play as long as 551. Can you believe that? In round 3, it played as the 2nd most difficult hole, and a lot of it has to do with this tee shot. Look at that fairway, folks. It cambers and tilts so much from right to left, and there is a sea of sand down there in the driving zone. It's little patented fade against the tilt of the fairway all week.
Come on, Win, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Oh, got it. That is perfect now. Look at that. Those bunkers down the right-hand side, 328 yards to carry those. That ball landed no more than a yard inside the right edge of the fairway, and you can see it there in the left center, but that has set up a very, very good look to a front pin location for Thomas. 13, 14, 15, and 16, all crucial stretch of holes there. Makes a different sound, Will.
He's just, I don't even think he needed to ask about what the cover number was. It was just like, oh, just hit it down the middle of the fairway. And you see how impressive JT's ball was, as it took a little while for that one to catch up to it, and will hold the left side of the fairway for Potgieter. It's been quite some time since the driver was out of the bag for Potgieter, but 2 in the fairway at this difficult, long 15th hole. Sunday afternoon at the PGA Championship, Justin Thomas, probably too little too late this week, although it does have 4 holes remaining. Aldrich Potgieter, his first ever top 40 in a major. They're on the 15th hole. We'll see how far down the 15th we can carry these 2, but we'll be hustling back to the first tee and shift to Aaron Rai and Ludwig Oberg, who right now are in a log jam tie for second as they get ready to hit the golf course, 2 off of the lead at this 108th PGA Championship. A week that has been defined by parity, top to bottom in this field. There was no 10-shot rule for the cut like we see in some majors, like at the Masters and occasionally in others. But if there had been, had almost 100 guys make the cut at the end of Friday's round. That's how tight and bunched scoring has been from the beginning of the week. Alex Smalley rallied after he was at one point in time yesterday nearly outside the top 30, played the final group, made a mess of the early parts of the front 9, rallied to get them all back, and then birdied 18 to take a 2-shot lead into the final round. We'll have Ryan Oberg trying to run him down coming up in our featured group coverage this afternoon. How about those 2 tee balls?
346 yards for Potgieter, 357 for Justin Thomas. They had to carry those bunkers down there, if you can see on the right-hand side, 300 yards to it, 318 in fact over them. No issue for both of these players with just a little bit of breeze off that right side. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous par 4. But it's been a stout one all week. Like I said, the shortest it's played all week at 5:27 today, however.
Not the longest tee ball of the day here at 15, but pretty close. Hao Tong Lee, a sturdy little 370 off the tee here at 15 today. Potgieter a few yards behind that.
Yeah, ball just above his feet a little bit. He'll turn it from right to left. Oh, that's pretty good. That's kind of been what he's been doing a lot of since we've come on the air with him. A lot of shots right where you need to hit them. Just hasn't been able to quite get that proximity close enough to be able to capitalize, make some birdies. And I think this man's hand is forced at the moment. Justin Thomas came out, made the early bogey at the 3rd, but since then has been rock solid. Didn't take advantage of the drivable par 4, I should say, 13th. But a good opportunity here. 170 yards. You can see how much tilt and camber's in this fairway. Ball well above his feet. That's going to help him sweep it into this pin location. Tucked just over a tier in the front left portion. He's got to pick one up here and take advantage of the par 5 16th.
Big luck kick. Big luck kick.
Did kick left. It was rather big. Ball sometimes does listen, and JT's got a crack at a 3.
You talk your ball, Will?
Oh, absolutely. You have to yell at it. And what a beautiful day. Challenging conditions if you're not in control of your golf ball. It's not only the golf course that you're battling, it's not just the elements that you're battling. If you are now one of these final groups, it's that demon that lives in between your ears that you're also battling now on a Sunday afternoon. As we're about 4 minutes away from the first tee shots of Aaron Rai and Ludwig Oberg. We'll be making our way over to that first tee. Maverick McNeely, a birdie at 1. He had to deal with the nerves of being in a final group yesterday. Maybe an opportunity to be more aggressive today playing chaser. And how does Alex Smalley deal with being in a position he has never come close to experiencing in a final round, final group of a major alongside Matty Schmid when they tee off in just over 20 minutes. I know we'll have plenty of time to talk about it, Colin Swatton, but it's been 60+ years since we contested a men's major at Aronimink, and if it's another 60 until we come back here, it'll be an absolute crime, because this has been a wonderful test of golf this week.
I could not agree with you anymore. It is a fantastic venue. We've seen everything this week. We've seen the cold, the wind, the green complexes, the length, the subtleties of the shorter holes. This has been a splendid 108th PGA Championship. Aronimink, you have not disappointed.
All right, so our guys getting to the tee in a bit. Ludwig Oberg has been very close to winning a major before. What are his expectations, and how does he prepare to try and win his very first major?
For me, it's just going to kind of get out, kind of get a good warm-up in, kind of, figure out, make sure everything feels good, and, go to the first tee, just, fresh start.
Obviously, majors, there's no denying that these are the big events, right? These are the ones that everyone wants to win. When you sort of sit down and you summarize your career, you want the major wins, and this, for me, is just a great opportunity to get one of those.
It's not really anything that I have to prove to myself or anybody. It's just something I want to accomplish, and all I have to do is keep playing the way I've been playing.
Mindset's so important, Colin Swatton. You've had to sit there and play psychologist in addition to caddy and coach in these major moments on a Sunday. It's a different beast that you have to conquer as we take a look at Ludwig Åberg yesterday and how he put himself in position to maybe win this major today.
This is the approach shot here at the 4th.
Bogeyed his second hole, birdied at 4. Yesterday, players were having a feast at 6, driving it up the hill down breeze. Played a nice little clippy wedge there. That got him to 3 under par for the tournament. And then at the 9th, just over the back of the green, had this for eagle. Could not make that. Added a bogey on the back 9 to fall back to -3. And then how this ball didn't go in for eagle at 16, I still don't know. Four birdies, 2 bogeys, followed up 66 with 68, and they're about to start at the first. Birdie opportunity to this right hole location today, Colin Swatton, if you can put it in the fairway.
That is the key here at the first. You must find the fairway here, especially with this pin located over on the far right there.
This is the 2:15 starting time. Now on the tee, please welcome from England, Aaron Rai.
PGA Vice President Nathan Charnes, our first tee announcer, and the 31-year-old from Wolverhampton, England. Somehow a Man U fan, despite being right there in the den of the Wolves. Maybe the most accurate driver of the golf ball the last 5 years at the height of the men's game. Can he pepper fairways today and maximize opportunities in his best shot yet at winning a major?
He has hit this fairway every day.
And now on the tee, please welcome from Sweden, Ludwig Åberg.
26 years old. And this also the best weapon in his bag. Åberg, an elite driver, has gotten better each and every day this week in terms of finding fairways, and is sneaky having one of his best seasons since turning professional. Could it be the best win of his career 18 holes from now? Needs a soft bounce.
The referee for this group is PGA American member from Indiana, Dave McAtee.
Did not get it. And so that finds the right hand rough. Two different players today, but each of them seeking their first major championship. We've got one of the best out there walking inside the ropes with them, Steve Scott. Steve, what are you most looking forward to between these two today?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the differences, the dichotomy that is between Aaron Rai and Ludwig Åberg. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Ludwig Åberg, he's a high launch, low spin player dealing in meters. Aaron Rai deals in yards, and he's a low launch, high spin player. So very different there. And then Ludwig Åberg, he has had 3 top 15s in major championships. Second place at the Masters just a couple years ago, his best finish. Aaron Rai has not finished better than tied for 19th in any of his majors. Maybe most importantly, though, as far as the speed of play goes, Aaron Rai, some call him methodical, some call him very calculated. And Ludwig Åberg, well, he plays like he's got ice cream melting in the car. So he's going so fast. So anyway, very different types of players these players are, but they have to balance each other and figure it out. But with all their differences, one similarity abounds. They both want their hands on that Wanamaker trophy come the end of the day. Boy, it's going to be a great championship Sunday here at Aronimink.
Extremely true. I think sometimes when you get in a situation like this, Championship Sunday, cadence, flow is everything. And I think Joe Skovron is going to play a crucial role today, and that is Ludwig's caddy. He has to keep his man patient. You know, when you're standing, you're waiting, you're thinking, and I think he is going to have to keep Ludwig's mind off the Wanamaker trophy and what it would mean.
How many good drives can these players put themselves in? Mentioned at Åberg catapulting into the rough, where we've seen already a bogey today. And Aaron Rai, he's going to be behind a lot of the field average in terms of driving, but the way these fairways are bounding, 4th in the field in driving accuracy for the week, I have to imagine near the very top of the goal sheet today for Aaron Rai was fine fairways.
Yeah, and his big thing this week has been wearing out these approach shots here. He is actually 5th in strokes gained approach the green this week at 4.66. And, oh, by the way, top 22 in putting. That all adds up to finding yourself in 3rd to last group on a championship Sunday for the PGA Championship.
Ludwig Åberg talked about the challenge, the test of this golf course, and he said, I like this type of golf. And he expanded on that point to say that it requires